Shout out to everybody. We back. Shout out to everybody. I've been seeing a couple of things that's been going on. You know what I mean? If y'all up, let me know. Also, if you can click the notification bell. If you're watching on the replay, go ahead, ask me whatever questions you want, and then I'll end up getting into the comment section and responding to y'all, you know what I mean, as fast as I can. Shout out to everybody. We got an election coming up, and it seems like Kamala Harris may be putting the brakes on like pretty soon, so I don't know. We'll end up seeing. So I want to get into some news. It seems like Joe Rogan is having issues, or people saying they're having issues with finding Joe Rogan's Trump episode. So he ended up putting up a post, right? He said, since there's an issue with searching for the episode on YouTube, here is the full podcast with Trump. So I do want to go back to that in a minute and then see if maybe we can go ahead and kind of react to a little bit of this. But before we get to all of that, let's go ahead and listen to this. So shout out to Devoric Darkins. He's got some content, right? So he says, Kamala Harris self-destructs during disastrous DC speech. So let's listen to him.
Michigan voters believe that Donald Trump would do a better job with handling the economy and bringing jobs back. What do you say to that?
Well, let's start with this. I come from the middle class, and I'll never forget where I come from. My mother worked.
She did not. No, she did not do this again, y'all. No, she did not do this again. I come from a middle class. Oh, God. Well, you know what? She doesn't really have to say anything of substance now. From what I'm looking at online, people are just gobbling up anything and everything that she did say. So, I don't know. This is kind of ridiculous.
Michigan voters believe that Donald Trump would do a better job with handling the economy and bringing jobs back. What do you say to that?
Well, let's start with this. I come from the middle class, and I'll never forget where I come from. My mother worked very hard. She, by the time I was a teenager, was able to save up for our first home.
All right, so Kamala Harris just delivered one of her worst speeches, in my opinion, during this entire campaign, because she is titling this speech her closing.
Yo, dude got like 86,000 subscribers in like 4 days. Like, Davari has been working, bro.
Argument. So given the context, I think this is bad. All right. Now, of course, she makes 80% of the speech about Donald Trump. So what we're going to do is hear some highlights from that speech, debunk the lies, of course, and deliver some common sense as a reaction. Let's start at the very beginning when her speech didn't get off to a good start.
Thank you, everyone. So listen, 1 week from today, you will have the chance to make a decision that directly impacts your life, the life of your family, and the future of this country we love. And it will probably be the most important vote you ever cast. And this election...
She's not wrong about that. This is going to be one of the most important votes that you guys ever cast. She is not lying about that.
...is more than just a choice between two parties and two different candidates.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, the beginning of her speech was dominated by sirens. If you're from D.C., then you would expect that the sirens in D.C. seems to be very loud. And so it didn't get off to a good start, to say the least. And then she descends into Orange Man Bad. Let's start with the first one.
Intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him. People he calls, quote, the enemy from within. America, this is not a candidate for president who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power. Donald Trump has spent a decade trying to keep the American people divided and afraid of each other.
All right, so
but that's what they're doing. Like, if you guys look at Michelle Obama, like what she's doing. Shout out to everybody for hitting the hearts. I see y'all in there hitting the hearts. I appreciate that. Michelle Obama is very divisive in her speeches. You know, Mr. Obama trying to get black people to mobilize and vote, black men to mobilize and vote for her because like she's a woman. Like, I don't really know what's going on. It seems like this is very, very divisive in what the Democratic Party is doing. Just my opinion on it.
A very inflammatory statement to say that he's going to use the military to go after his political opponents. We know that's not even possible, for the record. Okay, it wouldn't even happen. That's number one. Number two, the only evidence where there has been physical action against a political opponent has been the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration against Trump. That's very clear. And number three, she keeps it's a double binding message. On one hand, you're saying, I want to turn the page from all this divisiveness and hate speech and fear mongering. But then you make comments like that. So tell me how that works. And here's the next one.
Politicians have got to stop treating immigration as an issue to scare up votes in an election. And instead treat it as the serious challenge that it is, that we must finally
What's going on? Tawana said, Democrats were at my door screaming my name yesterday to get me to vote blue. Dale said, is the rest of y'all in here getting notifications when Piper Boy go live? I had to type his... No, you know what happened? This is not a YouTube issue. This is me, right? So I don't know if you guys know, yesterday, like at night, like I went live like 3 times, like back to back. I was having issues to where my computer was trying to update. And so I went live again. So what happens is with YouTube, you get 3 notifications a day. And so if you use all of those within a 24-hour period, so if you use all of those notifications, you're done, right? You just have to wait till everything resets. With me going vertical like this, it still enables me to somewhat like reach a little bit more of an audience without having to rely on notifications at times, depending on time of day and all of that. But yeah, the reason why you didn't get a notification is because I used them all. So, but I'm going to use them sparingly from now on because we now see. But if you guys like are in a chat and I see you, like hit the hearts or double tap the screen. And what that'll do is it'll try to help them kick the video like back into the algorithm. But that's basically what's going on. I use too many notifications.
come together to solve.
So it's not YouTube's fault.
I will work with Democrats and Republicans to sign into law the border security bill that Donald Trump killed. When I was...
And then you also got to think like, yeah, so you also got to think like they don't want, I appreciate y'all hitting the hearts because y'all going to help me get this back into the algorithm. But they don't want people to just be spamming you, right? So you know how like some people don't have a job, you know what I mean? So they'll just like sit there and keep making videos and throwing them out. If they don't relegate it or cut it down to like 3 notifications, you'll be constantly getting hit by the same people. And I'm following people that upload like constantly. I'm talking about like every couple hours or hour they're uploading like 2 videos. So, you know, they got to do something to kind of cut down on that.
Attorney General of a border state, I saw the chaos and violence caused by...
Stephanie said, like, I'm going to go live every day at 3 p.m. Eastern. So you guys are probably going to see less of me, like, coming up in the next day. So what's happening is, like, you know, I work 3 days a week. So I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I work 12 hours a day. So I work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so what I've been trying to do, because we're trying to get to that 100,000 subscriber goal, I've been trying to at least do a live, like when I come home from work, and I may be live for like a couple hours, go to sleep, wake up. If I have time, like go live again, but go to work, come home, do it again. And then for the days I have off, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I try to go live as much as I can so we can go ahead and hit that 100,000 subscriber goal. But the problem has been, and I've been like trying to stick to that, but you know, like what's going on, you have a goal, the universe tries to throw wrenches in what you're doing. So it's a lot of people been like hitting me up trying to hang out. Like I haven't, you know what I mean? Just like wild things. So I've just been trying to focus on this, man. I'm not going out of town or nothing. I'm trying to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers so we can get like a few more protections on the channel.
Transnational criminal organizations that I took on. And when I am president, we will quickly remove those who arrive here unlawfully, prosecute the cartels, and give Border Patrol the support they so desperately need.
Okay, let's take her at her word. So, Madam Vice President.
And she's saying that now because the Border Patrol is trying to support Trump. So yeah, she's gonna say that now. Stop playing, y'all. I see y'all. Stop hitting the hearts. Double tap the screen. Stop playing with me, y'all. I see y'all trying to play with me.
Why didn't you create another bill in 2022?
What's
create
up, Billy?
another bill in 2023.
Dizzo.
Why not try to issue executive orders? Why not go out there campaigning and calling out Congress for not offering up a bill?
Well, DeVore, she wants to run on a problem and not on a solution. That's what she's doing.
It's only in 2024 that a bill was finally offered, and because it didn't fall through, you want to use that as a bargaining chip in your political campaign. But
hey, y'all, this lady got real mad at me, right? So I went to Costco, and you know how like you can just go and like get like a pizza or whatever, or like a, you know, whatever you're gonna get like at that little like the food spot, right? And so I'm going in that direction, but I had my Make America Great Again hat on. So this lady, like when I was walking in there, she's like, "Excuse me," and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You got to go around through the front way. We don't let people back here like that." I'm like, "Can you calm down? What's your problem?" And she's like, "Well, now we got scanning, and you got to go around." And but so I'm like, "All right." So I'm like, I'm not about to go crazy on her. Like, what's her problem? I thought it was like, you know what I mean? Like maybe because I'm black or something. I'm like kind of mad. So then I see somebody else come through, and she's like real nice and polite. And then I remember I had the hat on, so she was getting like super aggressive because I had the hat on. So I went around, and you know what I mean? Because they got like these new things that you scan. So I guess people have been coming to Costco like with the card, but their card is expired. So they want you to scan them first before you go in. So then when I went like and got my food and was leaving out, she's like that. I'm like, what? I'm like, nah, you bugging. And then it was like when I had first got my food, it was like some black people sitting down eating. It was like this lady, and it looked like her son, looked like he was like 17 or something like that, and then like two like smaller kids. And she was looking at me, and she was just like, "Brother, what are you doing, brother?" And I was like kind of ignoring her, like when I was waiting for my food. She's like, "What are you doing, brother?" And I just looked at her, and I'm like, "I'm exercising my freedoms." And she goes, like, what? Yeah, her kids needed to see something different.
people are seeing right through that. So that's number one. Number two.
Natalia said, angry that you're walking by her in that hat, most likely. Yeah, I figured out that's what it was. That's what it was. And then BK said, Trump train is on its way.
Oh, don't use immigration to round up votes. Isn't that what you're doing with the abortion issue? Talking about women are bleeding out in a parking lot? I mean, this is why.
Yeah, they have been making up a lot of like craziness. Y'all see like all the distractions that's going on. I fell into one of the distractions earlier, right? Because if you talk about entertainment, you get paid like big bucks. And so I seen like all this entertainment stuff going on. It's like they were alleging like Jay Prince has gotten raided, you know what I mean? Like his record company and got raided. Like all this stuff, Lil Durk and then Ray J and P. Diddy's son, like allegedly almost got into an altercation, and then Chris Brown's people and pulled up. It was like all kind of stuff, bro. And I start talking about all that, and then I'm like, nah, let me get offline and kind of just, you know, reprogram and then just come back later on. But yeah, they got a lot of distractions. And you got to think about this. I was live not even that long talking about entertainment, made way more money way more money. I'm like, oh, okay. Y'all playing around now. They really, some social media companies really don't want you to talk about politics. But this is crazy for Joe Rogan to say this. Since there's an issue with searching for this episode on YouTube, here is the full podcast with Trump. That is crazy, bro.
Her campaign is just, it's a walking contradiction. But what's more fascinating is how delusional she is about January 6th. Listen to this.
Person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair.
Yo, this is crazy that the alarm is just going off, bro. That's crazy. But that really, not to like digress, but that really like bothered me that lady, brother, like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, listen. And then that lady at the door, man, I'm going back there, bro. Before I go to work, I'm going back there. Like, I'm going to go and get something to eat before I like go to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? And see if she there. If she there, I'm snitching on her, bro. I'm going to tell her boss. Because she wilding.
It's how delusional she is about January 6th. Listen to this.
Person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a...
This lady is a big fabricator, bro. He said, go to the Capitol and, you know, make your voices heard peacefully and patriotically. Make your voices heard. When did he send like an arm? Like, this lady is dangerous. That's very destructive, and like for her to say something like that. And you got to think, like, there's already been like 2 attempts on Donald Trump. For her to go that route, like, she wilding, y'all.
Her campaign is just, it's a walking contradiction. But what's more fascinating is how delusional she is about January 6th. Listen to this.
Person who stood at this very spot.
Yeah, the delusional part is her saying that he sent them there. Like, with arm, like he said, yo, make your voices heard peacefully and patriotically. He did not tell them to like go up there with like blicks and all that. Like, he didn't do that.
Nearly 4 years ago, and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election. That he knew he lost. Americans died as a result of that attack. 140 law enforcement officers were injured because of that attack. And while Donald Trump sat in the White House watching as the violence unfolded on television, he was told by his staff that the mob wanted to kill his own vice president. And Donald Trump responded with 2 words: so what? America, that's who Donald Trump is. And that's who is asking you to give him another 4 years in the Oval Office.
Okay, so as it pertains to January 6th, let's just have a heart-to-heart, because I know you're watching this video. I want to ask you a question directly. If January 6th is everything they say that it was, and Donald Trump did...
And let me look at the comments. Somebody said we voting Trump. MF said, where's the delusional part that really happened? And then Debo said, very dangerous. And then Kanan said 140 crazy, maybe 140 present. Mr. E said the background sound is annoying. Yeah, like that really messed up her speech.
Donald Trump responded with 2 words: so what? America, that's who Donald Trump is. And that's who is asking you to give him another 4 years in the Oval Office.
Okay, so as it pertains to January 6th, let's just have a heart-to-heart, because I know you're watching this video. I want to ask you a question directly. If January 6th is everything they say...
Yeah, like it's like far... I've got like, I don't know if I can let you see. I'll have to switch to this camera so you can see. My screen, like, I've got a big like 49-inch. It's called a Neo G9 monitor. Look it up on Google. It kind of goes in like that. So like where I got the chat, it's kind of back a little bit. So in order for me to see it, I really got to do this. So that's why it looked like it was canine.
That it was. And Donald Trump did everything that they said that he did. Why was he not fully impeached? And I ask you that question because if it's as serious as they say that it is, I would have expected by now, because we're pretty much coming up on 4 years. But the reality is they're not telling everybody the full story of January 6th.
No,
I guarantee you he will never be held accountable in the way that they say he should.
Not Donald Trump, but Joe Biden said, yo, he said Trump supporters are garbage. This is what Joe Biden said, bro.
Because he really didn't do the things they say that he did. Anyways, I digress. I mean, January 6th, if this is your closing argument, prosecutor from San Francisco, you are not doing a good job because you're singing to your choir.
You know what? If let's just say she does become president, which I don't think she will, but if she does, are we gonna hear from her a lot more? Like the cackles and everything. Like we're gonna hear from her a lot more.
Not speaking to independents and undecided voters at this point. All right, so here's Kamala Harris creating another campaign ad for Trump. Watch.
So, America, let us reach for that future. Let us fight for this beautiful country we love. And in 7 days, we have the power. Each of you has the power to turn the page and start writing the next chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told.
Okay, so before I go any further, if you're getting value from this video so far, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you want to support Trump, 10% about what people really want to hear, the voters, that is. So this is a colossal failure, and it's not my opinion. Democrats are saying this.
The world's biggest
strategists are saying this. Undecided voters are saying this. Independents are saying this. I guess she just refuses to take advice. So there's that. Now, earlier this day, she was doing local interviews at these affiliate news channels, and she's just up to her same ways where she refuses to give people any sense of clarity with her answers. And when you're
Let's listen to what Joe Rogan's podcast. Let's listen to some.
What was the negative?
And you
of
talk
it?
about money.
Right.
The negative was politically they didn't think it was good for them. That's all.
That's all it was. So you
That's
don't think
all
that it's environmentally
No,
dangerous?
Taking it from way down deep in the earth, environmentally would have been fine.
So it can be done responsibly.
Absolutely.
to
Oh,
the
otherwise,
point where it
let's
protects
not
the
do it.
environment.
Well, I think windmills. Okay, so they talk about
Good
windmills.
point.
I think windmills are really disruptive. When you talk about the environment, they kill the birds. You want to see a bird cemetery? Go under a windmill someday that hasn't been cleaned.
Somebody said, you better get out and vote. It took me under 3 minutes. Hey, look at this though. Hold on. They're like getting in the way of people voting. Like, I think I ended up sharing that on. No, I didn't retweet it, but they're like closing the polls early. It's crazy. And they're stopping people. If you got Make America Great Again, like stopping people from coming into events. It says Trump supporter denied entry into the San Francisco 49ers game because they were wearing a MAGA hat. Ugh.
About to enter and they stop us because my son-in-law is wearing this hat and they don't want to let us in.
So you're not letting these folks in. So hold on. You guys are going to kick them out for wearing Make America Great Again. Hold on.
Yep.
Hold on. We got to see the video over here. You guys are going to kick these folks out. I'm sorry. These folks out.
His.
I want to know that the supervisor does not allow it in because it is not on the website. I looked it up because I knew on this hat, would you guys have stopped me because it is the same thing.
She can't wear it?
Yeah, they said we can't wear it.
No way.
Yes. Yes. Our MAGA hat. need that owner. Let's go. Bring somebody out. Let's go. Let's go. Woo! Let's go, Trump. Woo! Every game is a hostile game. Every game is a hostile game.
I talked with government.
He's gonna allow you guys in.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, imagine
Figure,
that.
go.
It's crazy. Jon Stewart.
Raise the alarms.
The opening act, grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. A comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude. Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. She name-checked my comedy album from the 90s.
Yo, he funny, bro.
She name-checked my comedy album from the 90s. Did I really? I don't know who's AI, me or that guy.
What y'all think about the comedian, though? I didn't like him. I thought that was like, I don't think that was the appropriate forum for that comedian to be up there. But as far as like him talking about trash and all of that, I think Jon Stewart may talk about something.
Now, obviously, in retrospect, having a roast comedian come to a political rally a week before Election Day and roasting a key voting demographic, probably not the best decision by the campaign politically. But to be fair, the guy's really just doing what he does. I mean, here he is at the Tom Brady roast a few months ago.
The great Jeff Ross, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is so Jewish, he only watches football for the coin toss. Gronk, you look like the Nazi that kept burning himself on the ovens. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm starting to understand him a little bit more.
Of course, terrible, boo, yes. There's something wrong with me. I find that guy very funny. So, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm starting to get him a little bit more. I ain't that mad. Yo, this is annoying. So this guy, his name's Little Scrappy. He's a rapper, right? He is shaming black people for not voting for Kamala Harris. And he's saying, like, if he knows you and you're black and you vote for Donald Trump, you're no longer black to him. Listen to this. This is crazy.
When y'all, now I didn't say if, when y'all vote for Trump, and if that man win, I remember every last single person that I have come in contact with that said they voting for Trump. And if it ain't right, cuz, I'm gonna remember you. And you're not gonna be black to me no more, at all. You're not gonna be black to me. I'm not gonna, don't try to shake my hand. I'm not gonna shake your hand. I'm gonna pray for you.
That's crazy. He says a lot of bad words, so I'm not going to play him. But that's crazy. Because somebody doesn't want to vote. And I'm going to let y'all hear the beginning of this. This lady is next to the border. It says, woman starts praising God after Florida police save her from being R-word by an illegal immigrant who applied for asylum just 1 day earlier.
Hey.
He's trying to rape me. Can you
Get off her now.
help me?
Get off her now.
Give us the channel.
I can't because it starts, you know, they take them to the ground. YouTube is like real weird about that. But isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Thank God for that cop that was there. Thank God for that cop that was there.
Hey, democracy.
But if you want to see that video, it's on my Twitter. Go to my Twitter, the video's up on there. Yeah, Justin. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, democracy. Listen, you came to me. I didn't come to you. But every time these people say democracy, this country was built on a republic, not a democracy. So every time you say democracy, that's communism. All these people over here that say all the stuff that they're saying, that's all BS. Not only that, Listen, not only that, they got that swastika up. You know where that swastika comes from? That comes from indigenous, Aboriginal black people of America. That was one of their symbols, okay? So once again, I don't care what you got to say. But what I am saying is that Democrats is a de facto government. Those are the people who are going against all of our constitutional
Thank you, Justin,
rights.
for subscribing.
Here. So those people don't know what's going on. I know exactly what's going on here in America. The same way everybody else needs to know what's going on. If you want to know what's going on, look, find out what your straw man is. Who is your straw man? There is no money. Everybody's birth certificate, everybody's social security card is all connected to money, a trust fund. Everybody needs to know that. There should be no homelessness in America. That's what everybody needs to know. United States Corporation, that's what it is. It's a corporation. We've been all tricked, everybody. All of us. All of us. United States is a corporation. It's not a government. Just like all of their ABC agencies. They're all de facto. These are the people who've been going against our constitutional rights every chance they get. People, wake up. That's what we need. The American people to wake up so we can.
I like how she said that. It was a republic, not a democracy when it first started. I like how she said that. A lot of people forget that.
Come together as we the people.
MAGA, baby. MAGA. Oh, you one of them.
I've done plenty of research.
I should have known
I know
that.
exactly what's going on here in America. Everyone else needs to know what's going on.
Yeah, I like that.
Merry Christmas. How dare we?
You're going to be
like, what?
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Yo, I like Christmas. Do y'all like Christmas?
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Hey, man, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of Merry Christmas stuff in my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching like Christmas movies, A Christmas Story, like all of that. The Grinch that stole Christmas. I'm gonna be playing like Christmas music in my house.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Unreal.
Tell us, are you supporting Harris?
I absolutely am, yes.
I couldn't tell by the shirt. What is one reason or policy that you support of hers?
Okay. She is not Donald Trump.
She's not Donald Trump. I used to think people were smart when I was, like, adults were smart when I was younger. Unreal. She's not Donald Trump. Can't name one policy.
But I am opposed to fascism. So
Me too.
That's why I'm supporting Kamala Harris.
You saw that article where they said that Trump is Hitler yesterday?
I did, yes.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's I can't believe that his granddaughter is Jewish. Can you tell me a policy that you like?
He said, I can't believe his granddaughter's Jewish. I see what he doing.
There's so many, it's so hard to think.
Of Kamala Harris?
Yeah. Well, not of Trump, right? There's everything he puts out is bad.
Understood. Yeah. Sorry. It's just okay.
I agree. I put you on the spot here. There's so many good stuff.
The Affordable Care Act is closer to where I'd like us to be
Take you back
than what the Republicans would have. So I like that she
Now
is
it's time
supportive of growing and enhancing the Affordable Care Act.
What about some new initiatives? Because that's Obama, and Obama did some bad stuff too.
Understood. Yes. As far as what she's got, the down payment assistance for first-time home buyers.
What about this initiative she just put forward? She's going to increase taxes specifically on white males, and I love that.
Absolutely, yes. I have always felt my taxes aren't high enough.
Exactly.
I always thought my taxes were not high enough. This guy cannot be serious. These people.
Exactly. And same here, and I think that's the best way that we can pay reparations.
Okay,
right?
Sure.
Unreal. can't make this stuff up. You just can't.
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and I regret to inform you that Robert De Niro has gone fully demented again. You'll remember his various anti-Trump rants, deranged, bile-filled attacks that show that De Niro is suffering from an advanced case of Trump derangement syndrome.
It makes me so f***ing angry. That we're here talking about a piece of like Donald Trump.
Ah, what a charming man. Not at all bitter or insane, is he? You know what? He's like the male Whoopi Goldberg. And talking about Whoopi, here she is claiming that Donald Trump will deport the coloured wives of white men. He'll break up interracial marriages and will then marry off the white men to new wives.
Talking about you, it's us. He's not going to, you know, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man
Funny, like she used to like Donald Trump.
is out there.
What can you say about these people? They really should have never closed those asylums. And while we're on The View, let's have a look at...
Devious Chris said, hosts should watch Walter's Masterson. That would be funny.
this meltdown from Sunny Hostin, who blames Donald Trump personally for a joke told by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe at Madison Square Garden.
This Puerto Rican has something to say about the island that I love, where my family is from. Puerto Rico is trash. We are Americans, Donald Trump.
Why are you telling Donald Trump? It was a comedian who made the joke, this joke.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep, it was Tony's joke. He's a comedian. He got a mixed response from the crowd for that joke. Do we expect folks to change their vote because of a joke about Puerto Rico? Well, Sunny Hostin expects it, and in this rather hysterical diatribe, she again seems to mislead her dim audience, giving them the impression that it was Donald Trump who told that joke.
We vote Donald Trump trash. And by the way, Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, Bad Bunny, Luis Fonsi, and Mark Anthony have over 345 million followers on Instagram. I think you only have 26 million, since you care so much about size. And we don't like what was said.
This is a lady that used to say a lot of nice things about Trump before she got hired on The View. This is the lady he was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast. What people will do for money is unreal. This is crazy. Shout out to C Breezy 201.
Said about Puerto Rico. And we know how to take the trash out, Donald Trump. Trash that has been collecting since 2016. And that's you, Donald Trump.
Oh,
Really? Let me show y'all this real quick. We're taking the trash out.
They have a very serious landfill. Did you know that Puerto Rico actually has a very serious landfill and garbage problem? And all of this dates back to the 2017 hurricanes, which, interestingly enough, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ran on fixing these issues. And now that I know this joke actually makes sense. And you can click on the comment and watch the video I made. I was very upset with the comedian. And my mistake, guys, was listening to the news outlets before I decided to do my own research. And that mistake was on me, which is why I'm doing this video now. Once I started to do my own research, I realized he was never talking about the Puerto Ricans like the news outlets made it seem. He was making fun and bringing to light a very important issue that Puerto Ricans are facing, which is a landfill issue. And if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden ran on fixing these issues in 2020, what makes you think that they're going to fix them now? It seems like they're doing the same thing that they did with the immigration issue and the abortion issue. They're using them to win elections, but not actually doing anything about them because they're going to need those same issues in 4 years. And if you don't believe me, you can always look this up. In fact, I always encourage people to look it up. My videos are only a starting point to lead you in the right direction, but it's always better for you to do your own research. The issue is that the island generates about 1.3 billion pounds of trash every year, and 85% of landfills are at saturation. incarceration levels. This has been a problem for Puerto Ricans since 1972. However, the issue was exacerbated in 2017 when they got hit with back-to-back hurricanes, which created over 6.2 million cubic yards of waste, which is equivalent to, I think, 43 football stadiums of just waste. Now, the issue lies with local governments and not enough regulation throughout these landfills, because a lot of this waste is considered green waste. So a lot of the organic material, it can be used as compost and it'll free up a lot of space. However, a lot of local governments and a lot of landfills aren't doing this.
And then Puerto Rico isn't even a state. It's just a U.S. territory. And then Bay Torres, he said, right, the View are demise. Yo. Let me fix this real quick. Let me fix this. Trying to cut me out. Oh no, that's Kamala Harris trying to cut me out. Let's see. Am I working again? Let me know if I'm working. My bad for all the swear words. This, I bought, all right, let me show y'all what, y'all are still in here? I bought this, right? Let me show y'all. This, and it's going back, right? So this is like $400. It's like a GMMK, like, glorious, like, keyboard. It's like $400. It's been causing my computer to mess up like crazy. So I will be getting rid of that. I'm taking it back to Best Buy. It's like terrible. It's like after taxes and everything, it was like $400. It's like messing my computer up. So I'm going to get rid of it.
Tone down the hyperbole, love. You're going to hurt yourself. Now, for the
Stephen Peterson, yep, definitely her corrupt like that. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. I don't...
record, most Latinos that I know of are not the celebs she mentions. Most Latinos have a pretty good sense of humor. They're not easily offended. They're not snowflakes. And they probably know that Puerto Rico...
He says sending data straight to China. Yeah, it's something going on, bro. Like, why is this thing is $400 and it's like breaking my... Bro, I got like a 13900K processor. I got an RTX 3090 Ti. Like, I've got like 64 gigs of RAM. Like, there is nothing wrong. I've never had a problem with my computer until I hooked up this keyboard. So it's doing something to my computer. I'm getting rid of it.
has a significant trash problem, has had for many years. In any case, it was a joke. I don't recall the Democrats, including the likes of The View's Sunny Hostin, having a tantrum over this joke told recently at a Kamala rally, suggesting that Mexicans are thieving miscreants.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight...
I don't remember Kamala having to disavow that joke or the media having a mass meltdown about it. And of course, Don Lemon was joined.
Yo, this ain't no Temu keyboard, bro. This is a GMMK glorious keyboard. This is like $400 after taxes.
Joining in the insanity, listen to this nonsense.
You want to see the October surprise that just might...
But it's going. I'm getting rid of it. Trust and believe. I'm getting rid of it.
Donald Trump's chances of becoming president? This one stupid racist joke. And they released a statement almost immediately trying to distance Donald.
Somebody said $400 is too much for a keyboard. Yeah, but you know, I thought it looked cool. It's like made out of aluminum and all of that. It's the glorious GMMK. It's like fully built. Yeah. But you know, I got money or whatever, so it's whatever. It's what I wanted, but it ain't really worth it.
Donald Trump from the comedian and that joke. But not before some really high-profile stars started reposting videos of Kamala Harris's support of Puerto Rico, like Bad Bunny J-Lo, and Ricky Martin. They have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of loyal fans. That comedian, Kill Tony, may have just killed Donald Trump's chances of becoming president.
That is called wishful thinking, folks. Good luck with that, Don. Let's check in now with Tim Walz, who wants Republicans to stop all that name calling.
I think the core principle, adhering to the Constitution, the rule of law, getting away from the name calling and the division.
But wasn't it Tim Walz who just a few days ago called the world's richest man the genius sending rockets into space and using his considerable wealth to help save free speech? Wasn't it Tim Walz who called Elon Musk a dipshit?
Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit on these things. You know it.
And remember when the man who put tampons in boys' bathrooms in schools across Minnesota called Republicans weird and creepy?
You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see.
And here is Tim Walz pushing the dangerous lie that Trump's sellout rally at Madison Square Garden was some Nazi-inspired event.
Donald Trump has descended into madness over the last few weeks. And I think some of you don't miss on this. Go do your Google on this. Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden. And don't think that he doesn't know for 1 second exactly what they're doing there.
That's the weirdo accusing his opponents of using reckless language, really. Now it's time to check in with the woman herself, Kamala Harris. Here she is with a bunch of celebs, including John Legend, chanting, "We are not going back."
We're not going back. We're not going back.
Did you spot actor Mark Ruffalo there? How is he getting FaceTime with the Veep when he's out there pushing dangerous lies about Israel? The man is an anti-Zionist disinformation machine. Interesting company that she keeps, but don't expect the media to ask about that. The media won't even ask her about her many.
Somebody said, James says super creepy can speak on everyone else while doing the same ish. Make it make sense. Steven says, here comes the lies. Somebody said Bill Clinton accepted the nomination, and Natalia said they fake check what they dislike. Kenny Howard said, yeah, give me one good reason to vote for Harris without mentioning Trump. They can't.
Accents, but the content creators keep coming up.
What's up, Lily? And then B. Torres said, right, Howard.
With gems like this.
She got like different licenses I don't got. Yo, but Jeff Bezos like making the Washington Post not endorse any candidate is actually pretty dope, man. Especially when they're left-wing leaning.
Half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
You stand by that comparison?
What this dude just say?
In my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right, so by now, you've heard that Joe Biden called half of America garbage, right? Particularly Trump supporters. Now, I want you guys to think about this. There's only one or two reasons. Number one.
Yo, I think this is my computer. I might need to send my computer in. It's been acting up, bro. Am I back? Yeah, bro. I just had to like.
Now it's time for Lefties Allude.
Dang near like break my computer. I'm like, I got this mouse. I'm like slamming it. It's not working. Yo, I'm taking this computer back, bro.
Of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
It's okay. So I figured out what's going on, right? So this is like it's called a dark core control mouse. It's like $79 for this mouse, right? The problem is when this thing goes into rest mode, it freezes the whole computer. So this is the culprit that's causing the issue.
But Joe Biden.
So I'm taking this back to Best Buy tomorrow. I'm taking this back, and then I'm taking that keyboard back. So that is what's causing the issue. I figured out.
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
You stand by the comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
A fascist, really, lady?
All right, so by now, you've heard that Joe Biden called half of America garbage, right? Particularly Trump supporters. Now, I want you guys to think about this. There's only one or two reasons. Number one, he really is salty about getting kicked out of the race, and he does not believe in Kamala Harris. Or two, his brain is really mush, and he just says whatever comes out of his mouth. But it doesn't matter. The reaction is blowing up, and so I want to react to it and talk about it and give this story special attention. Let's start with the clip itself of Joe Biden saying these words. Watch.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. You know, he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
Okay, so you heard what he said. This is the follow-up message from his handlers. Of course, he didn't type this. Earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. This demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. It's not even an apology. It's a clarification. In fact, it doesn't even deny that he didn't say that. It's funny, if you really read it, he never said that he didn't say the people who support Trump are garbage. All this is really doing is just cleaning it up. I find that to be funny.
That's crazy. Let's see what he says about this.
News flash. Comedian at Trump rally. Joe Biden, hold my beer. Did Joe Biden just call us garbage?
He did. He did, bro. Tyrone, he did. He wildin'. He wildin'. Hit the likes if y'all can. Shout out to Grego Solo.
Well, I guess we're going to have to find out, aren't we? Biden calls Trump supporters garbage during Harris campaign event as VP promises unity at Ellipse rally? Anyway, President Joe Biden went viral Tuesday night for comments disparaging Trump supporters as his number 2 vice president, Kamala Harris, made a major speech to voters calling for unity from the ellipse right outside of, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is that ellipse?
Yeah,
during the virtual Harris campaign call with Voto Latino. Biden.
Somebody said, when did the VP start making policy? Is this something new?
Took a swipe at former President Trump's rally.
And then BR 549 said there are 29 dump sites in Puerto Rico for an island 70 by 30 miles.
Rally in Madison Square Garden, which made headlines after the insult comedian Tony Hinchcliffe made jokes mocking different ethnic groups, with one joke referring to Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. Well, let's see it in the flesh. Oh,
That's
yeah,
what he
I
said,
got
bro.
this queued up.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top.
How's he a failed businessman? He's a billionaire.
Bro, he's got like $6.5 billion and dude said he's a failed businessman.
How has he failed?
I don't know, bro.
What?
Bro, yeah, I know. It's just like, yo, like, he's a Republican. They'll make it make sense for themselves. Yo, does Donald Trump have more money than, like, the people talking crazy about him? Yes, he does. So how is he a failed businessman? I don't know.
Oh, God.
He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years?
First of all, and with that, he was talking about illegal immigrants that you bust in. I was watching Ben Shapiro the other day, and I think he said something in between 6.5 million to 11 million. Why did that just happen? It literally just went to another page.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. My computer's been acting up too. Like now that I'm talking about politics, and it's not in favor of Kamala, it's been doing weird things. Somebody said he doesn't pay his bills. Money is why I support Trump. With this administration, I can't retire. I am him said MAGA train is full of garbage. Steven said nope. That will be y'all, Karras voters, and then in a few months we'll be so happy we'll having more money and cost of living is down. James Coleman said, so what did she change from the Trump era to now since the VP making policy now?
And stopped my recording. Let's try this again. Oh my God. It literally just went to another page.
Yeah, haven't I been having problems? I'm like freezing. Never had this issue before. Something's going on. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. He's using Windows. Maybe it's Windows acting weird. I don't know.
I don't know why I did that. All right. That was weird. I don't know why I did that. That was strange. Don't show me an ad.
Donald Trump has no character.
Now.
He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community.
It showed me an ad. That's why I saw that cut.
He only cares about the billion.
Bro, you making all this money and you don't have YouTube Premium? You gotta be joking me, bro. Tyrone Magnus, y'all gotta think he got 1.9 million subscribers. Like I'm not gonna say what I make on this channel is decent, but this dude like is making crazy money, and you don't have YouTube Premium. He must be super conservative with his money, bro.
Their friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. He says immigrants are poor.
Hey, Bay Torres, like your computer, like do you have like a Mac or a PC? Let me know what you got.
Poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Said it, y'all. Biden's calling us garbage, y'all.
His demonization of things is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done.
Oh, there you go, folks. Biden just handed the election to Donald Trump on a silver platter. It's just so funny how something like the comedian's jokes could be blown up They're going to take anything that they can and run with it to try to make Trump and his campaign look bad. But the fact that Joe Biden came with this and saved the day, that we needed him to in the first place. Oh my God. By the way, sorry, my mic is not hooked up. I thought I had it hooked up. I was in a rush to do this video.
Crazy,
I talked with Governor Walz yesterday. He compared Trump's rally on Sunday to that of one of the Nazi rallies in the 30s at Madison Square Garden. Do you compare that? Do you find that a similar comparison?
Listen, this election is in 7 days, and I think the American people have a very clear choice. And on the one hand, you have
Hey, y'all, in the comment section, how many more subscribers until we hit 100,000?
Donald Trump, who is constantly fanning the flames of division and hate, who is trying to have the American people point their fingers at each other, or my leadership, which is founded on a lived and experience that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
A few moments later.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
You said 2,600 more? All right, shout out to JH for subscribing. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage.
He did say that, Trump. He did say that. Go in on him. Go in on him, Trump.
Are garbage. He's talking about the Border Patrol. He's talking about nurses. He's talking about teachers. He's talking about everyday Americans who love their country and want to dream big again and support you, Mr. President. And I hope their campaign is about to apologize for what Joe Biden just said. We are not garbage. We are patriots who love America. And thank you for running, Mr. President.
Wow.
Here's Donald. I can't wait for him to go in. Dave Walker said, yo, Piper Boy, you drink energy drinks? How you stay up? And bro, I just took a 2-hour nap. So let me tell you real quick. Shout out to you, Dave. I work 3 days a week. I'm off for 4 days. So I work 3 days, 7 to 7. Then I'm off for 4 days. So I can be up whenever. But you got to understand, I work nights, so I'm always up at night. I don't like going to work during the day, dealing with people. I don't want to do that. Especially the type of job I work. Trust me, I would rather be working at night. So that's why, bro. I function at night, so I don't really go to sleep until 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, on a regular. But in the morning, I got to go to the Tesla dealership because my car is giving me some problems. And so I'm going to take it up there. It's still under warranty. Have them look at it and try to fix whatever's wrong with it. And then I'm going to come home, go to sleep. And then later on, I'm going to work.
That's terrible. That's what it says. That's what it says.
And then Lily said, he is talking about us educated, smart, fine people of America. Trump, babe.
So you have...
And then it's funny that Biden can get away with it. Let Trump say something like that. Y'all would go crazy, bro.
Remember Hillary? She said deplorable. And then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable. That didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know. You have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, Dark MAGA Joe, aka Joe Biden, is the gift that keeps on giving because he is hell bent, so it seems, on tanking the Kamala Harris campaign. And he might have just done that today when he came out and
just
called
separated everybody.
Trump supporters garbage.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break.
Somebody said, Rick said, please forgive him. No, he gotta stand on this. Hey, James Coleman, subscriber, he gotta stand on this, bro. Ain't no forgiving that. You know he done messed up now.
To do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done.
The only garbage I see out there are his supporters. That's not going to do well.
Somebody notify the orderlies. The orderlies need to be notified. He's gotten loose. Joe Biden has gotten loose.
Notify the orderlies. She going in, bro.
Wow. I mean, I guess there goes the Live, Laugh, Love, campaign of Harris and, post Biden. I guess there goes the dignity in the White House. Is he a plant?
Okay, he said unequivocally that Trump supporters are garbage. Now, this comes as the mainstream liberal media is boohoo, whining, crying, and outraging about a joke that was told by a comedian at a Trump rally. Okay, it wasn't told by Trump himself. Okay, he didn't say it. It was a joke of a comedian. Now, do you think that the mainstream liberal media is going to be boohoo, whining, crying on behalf of half the country that the president of the United States just smeared as garbage in the same way that they were crying fake tears for the Puerto Ricans, none of whom who were actually offended by this joke? Probably not.
Calling Puerto Ricans trash. Calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. A comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Yeah, so the lack of outrage that we know we will get from the mainstream liberal media tells you everything you need to know about what they think about Trump supporters, okay? They actually do think that Trump supporters are garbage, and this is why there will be no outrage, okay? Because you would think that in a rational, insane world, in a media that is actually journalistic and neutral, if there's outrage over a comedian making a joke about the island of Puerto Rico, right? Not even the Puerto Rican people, then there should be way more outrage about the sitting president of the United States calling half the country garbage on tape, okay, on tape. And nobody should be surprised by the fact that the propagandists in the mainstream media are already making.
Nah, and then, if you're trying to get the people to be on your side, calling them garbage will not make them switch the side from red to blue. Dave Walker said the joke was not that bad. People are soft and reaching. James said at AT that head, I can't even say what he's saying. Lone said so inclusive unless you're right wing, white male, self-informed, and yet they sling way more stuff.
Some crazy excuses that requires a legendary amount of mental gymnastics in order to come up with as to why Joe Biden said this. Take a look.
I want you to listen to something that is making the rounds right now. Certainly,
y'all just be ready. If it glitches, if something happens, I'm gonna get it started. It might take about 12 seconds, but I'm gonna get it started.
By the Trump campaign, by Senator J.D. Vance and others, what President Biden had to say about this tonight.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Governor, first off, just what's your response to that comment from President Biden, where it sounds like he's calling Trump supporters they're garbage?
Yeah, look.
Hey, Kenny Dotson, you better not be a liberal, bro. He talking about I've been called worse. Kenny, stop playing, bro. Don't let them call you garbage out here.
I had not heard that until now, Caitlin. So,
yo, Rick said he called me garbage. So now I'm gonna vote for Kamala.
I'm kind of giving you my fresh reaction to it. I would never insult the good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate that I didn't support.
Say though, Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere, like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves.
Oh, now you're making up a whole new context for him? Oh, my God. This Nilly Vanilli. Is he serious right now? Can y'all hear me? My bad, y'all. It's my mouse, bro. My mouse is like giving me problems. Can y'all hear me? It's the mouse, bro. It's the mouse doing this.
But Joe Biden.
Caitlin, so I'm kind of giving you my fresh reaction to
try
it.
To find another mouse.
I would never insult the good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate that I didn't support.
Say though, Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere, like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave.
Yeah.
Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What?
Yo, he's like lost. He's like, I can't believe I got to sit here and defend this, but I'm in shackles. The Democratic Party controls me.
In the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
Yo, as soon as I call him Nilly Vanilli, my computer like shut down. I'm like, this Nilly Vanilli, like it just shut down. Like, really?
already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
No, but you don't just get to say
why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris?
I'll give you that.
Yeah, so Joe Biden's handlers are trying to clean up this comment, although I think that Joe Biden said this on purpose, but his handlers put out this message on social media. He says, earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump supporters at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at the rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. Okay, so basically what he's trying to say is that Joe Biden didn't mean to say supporters, right? He meant to say supporter, although that's clearly not what he said. But you know, the propagandists here are doing what they're paid to do, which is to push propaganda. Jonathan Lemire, who is one of these propagandists that works at MSNBC, this guy posted the full quote.
And just the other day, a speaker at a rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or a Puerto Rican where I'm from. In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is the supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been. And this is Jonathan Lemire says the full Biden quote from the Zoom tonight, which is being taken out of context. I don't think there's anything out of context about that.
From Joe Biden, taken out of context, right? This is what this guy is saying, okay? It was taken out of context. What they did here is that they basically added the apostrophe to make it a singular possessive noun. That's the type of propaganda that these people are running. You see this, guys? Like, you see this? Clearly, this guy was talking about Trump supporters as a whole, right? I mean, this is not something where he was talking about one person. Also, on top of that, ain't it amazing how the media all of a sudden understands context, right?
Yo, I hear Trump did an interview. Let's see. Fox News host Sean Hannity speaks to Trump. We're going to look at that in a minute.
When it comes to something that Joe Biden said, they tried to do the same thing when Joe Biden basically claimed that Trump should be locked up, right? This dude said that Trump should be locked up. Okay, that's what he said. And they tried to spin that. Well, he said politically. And it's like, well, what does that mean? What does locked up politically mean, right? Like, what does that mean? As if that makes it better. That doesn't make it better. But when it comes to Trump and anything that he says that's clearly taken out of context, the context doesn't matter, right? It doesn't exist. They never heard of context before. It doesn't exist for Trump. But apparently for Joe Biden and Democrats, when they say all types of crazy things, the first thing they want to do is decry context, where you're taking what he's saying out of context. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. These people literally have sold their souls, right? You have to sell your soul to run this type of problem.
This dude got like 871,000 subscribers. Shout out to him, though. He just come on there, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know how he got that many viewers, bro. I can't watch him.
All right, we are just 7 days away from election night, although every day is election day until then, because if there's voting in America, it's election day. Earlier today, I sat down with former President Trump for an exclusive interview. Here's part one of that interview. Mr. President,
Thank you. Can you imagine that, though? You just did a rally. You did a Joe Rogan podcast. You're doing all kind of interviews. You're doing all kind of podcasts, and then now you got to do this. Like, this dude is a machine, bro. He's not showing any signs of fatigue. He's not talking about he wants to take a vacation or take a break. He's not saying that this is the last speech before the election. He's not doing none of that. He just back to back to back to back. Like, I couldn't even do this. Like, I go live a lot, but like getting on the plane, like getting jet lag, going this place, that place, this place, that place. Like, that is insane. And then they want to talk about his medical records. Like, I think he's like showing less fatigue than Kamala Harris, in my personal opinion. I think he's doing really good. Joey said he really is. James Coleman said, hold on, y'all talking about something else. Dave Walker said, so if someone called New York Rat Nation, is that racist? No. Lily said, he is keeping up. He is awesome. Yeah, exactly.
This will be, we're 1 week from today's election day, the last interview I will ever have with you as a candidate. I'm sure you're probably not thinking about that yet.
Well, not really, but it's a little bit sad. We've been together a long time as a candidate. Now we can be together maybe toward making America great again, because we have to do that.
You know, it is amazing. With 1 week to go, how are you feeling about the race?
I think we're leading in every state, every swing state. I think we're even picking up maybe some states that traditionally don't go Republican. People want to see change. They don't want to have borders where murderers are being released into our country, and many others, drug dealers, where jails are being emptied out into our country. I happen to think it's the biggest issue. I think inflation would be second, the horrible inflation and economy. I mean, the economy went bad because of inflation. We had no inflation whatsoever. We had a great economy, maybe the best ever. I think the best economy anyone's ever had. And when you see what's happened to our country, it's very sad. But when you see what they're allowing to come into our country and kill people, I've just randomly just killed so many people. Young girls are dying left and right. We can't let this happen. I think it's the most important issue. And we're talking about by the thousands. They're coming in by the hundreds of thousands. And
yeah, that's crazy, bro. And this dude then put in like, I think like executive orders and everything to keep the border secure, and they come in and they reverse everything just like that. And so people that are really skeptical about government, they say, oh, well, the left and the right, they're just working against us, right? And they work against each other enough to nothing really changes. And this is like kind of like a situation that would demonstrate maybe their point of view on it. Because it's like, okay, dude then secure the border. They come in and they unsecure the border. And now we're looking for somebody to secure the border. And it's like, obviously, they just unsecured the border. So you want to vote for the person that secured the border. So you just had like 4 years of the people that unsecured the border. And now you want to go with the person that secured the border. So I understand like how some people think, like, you know what I mean? It's just like they're just literally just trying to outdo each other so much that you really get no result. You know what I mean? Now I understand why people just don't even want to vote like at this point. But I would say still vote, because y'all gotta understand. Some people say like if voting really meant anything, they wouldn't allow you to do it, right? I've seen a bunch of people on TikTok saying that. I think they are going through all of this, doing all of these interviews, going through everything because your vote is super important. Very, very important. You know what I mean? That's what I think. But, you know, you got electoral college. So some people kind of say, well, it ain't really about the popular vote. It's electoral college. Well, if you put the popular vote out and it shows one person overwhelmingly won against another person, and then people can like maybe like go and do their own independent research. Like, yo, what actually happened? Where did these votes come from? And they can, you know what I mean? Make people try to investigate things. Somebody said, Maui said, can we stop burning ballots, please? And then AT said, right, clearly the people who unsecured the border are in office now, but some people in the chat can't comprehend this. Yo, it's just, sometimes you gotta understand, bro. Sometimes it's gonna be people and they don't want to hear you. You know, like if you're voting for somebody that's opposite of somebody that they want, they don't want to hear. They don't have any incentive to really listen to what you got to say. I'm not saying anybody in the chat. I'm just saying period. So, you know, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you show them. Like in person, when I'm talking to people, I'm like, yo, did you know this? And then I'll show what she's saying, what she did, or what they did, where we are now, what Trump did. And that, I don't like Trump. I'm like, why? Like, he's a terrible person. What news do you listen to, CNN? And then I try to tell them, well, you don't really know more than CNN. Like, they don't even want to look at fact checks because people are already brainwashed and they got TDS, like Trump derangement syndrome. It's syndrome. It's a real thing. You know, so sometimes you just can't like change people's minds. It is what it is. James said, I live in Chicago. People were coming here before Biden got in, but I guess you didn't know that. And then Lachelle B said, yes, laws were already in place when Trump came into office.
Even the millions. And so they have 21 million people released into our country through a ridiculous open border policy of Kamala. You have to blame her because she was put in charge of the border by Biden, who went to sleep at 4 o'clock. And
Yo, he is terrible. Like with that, when Biden went to sleep at 4 o'clock.
she's done a horrible job. And by the way, I think it's very important for your listeners to know that the Border Patrol endorsed me powerfully and said she was horrible. They said I was the best ever and that she's the worst ever. So it shouldn't be that much of a choice.
She, in her own words, and this has frustrated me in the campaign, the media has covered for her. You know, they're an extension of her press office. She has said in her own words she wants to decriminalize illegal immigration, free food, housing, health care, education, her running mate, legal driver's licenses for illegals, free taxpayer funds.
Hold on, somebody said Project 2025. Hey, the person that said Project 2025, SF said, can you tell us more about Project 25? All right, here we go.
It is evident with this video.
I'm going to show you that Trump really doesn't have anything to do with Project 2025.
It's just out there. Project 2025.
What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
Let's hear. I keep hearing about Project 2025 from everyone on the left and all these Democrats. They keep talking about this is Trump's plan, Trump's plan, Trump's plan. What does Trump have to say about it? Because the only time I've ever heard Trump speak about Project 2025 is when he's saying things like this.
Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
Like, let's be real. Again, I keep saying let's be real because no.
So he's saying that he doesn't have anything to do with Project 2025. But if you want to read it, it says in a 900-page policy wish list, the next Republican president proposed that would expand presidential power and impose an ultra-conservative social vision. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends to implementing if he were elected again. Vice President Kamala Harris said earlier in the ABC News presidential debate. Donald Trump, who has repeatedly disavowed the document, responded, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. Dozens of former Trump administration officials have, however, contributed to the think tank's proposals, providing Democrats with an attack line against the former president. The backlash against some of the more radical proposals in Project 2025, conceived by the Conservative Heritage Foundation think tank, has been intense. The project's director stepped down after criticism of the plan from Democrats and anger from the Trump campaign, which accused Heritage officials of trying to exaggerate their influence over the former president. And despite Trump's distancing himself from Project 2025, it continues to remain a key election talking point. Here's your guide to what the document contains. Who wrote Project 2025? The Heritage Foundation is one of Washington's most prominent right-wing think tanks. It first proposed policy plans for future Republicans' administration in 1981 when Ronald Reagan was about to take office. It has produced similar documents in connection with subsequent presidential elections, including in 2016 when Trump won the presidency. That's not unusual. It's common for U.S. think tanks of all political stripes to propose policy wish lists for future governments. And Heritage has been successful in influencing Republican administrations. A year into Trump's term, it boasted that the White House had adopted nearly 2/3 of its proposal. The Project 2025 report was unveiled in April 2023, but Democratic opposition to the document has ramped up at this year's race has intensified. Democratic politicians have launched a Stop Project 2025 task force and even set up a tip line to collect insider information on Heritage activities, claiming there is a secret part of the agenda pushing a list of executive orders. The Harris campaign and its surrogates have consistently brought up the project in interviews and speeches. Trump began pushing away from the document in early July. "I know nothing about Project 2025. He posted on his social media platform, Truth Social. "I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things that they're saying, and some of the things that they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal." During the presidential debate with Harris, he was more nuanced and said the ideas in the document included some good, some bad. "But it makes no difference," he said. "I have nothing to do with it." The team that created the project was chock full of former Trump advisors, including Director Paul Dance, who was chief of staff of the Office of Personnel Management while Trump was president. Dance left the project in late July, clearing the way for Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts to take over. He said he was leaving during the presidential election season in order to direct all my efforts to winning bigly. Russell Vought, another former Trump administration official, wrote a key chapter in the document and also served as the Republican National Committee's 2024 platform policy director. More than 100 conservative organizations contributed to the document, Heritage says, including many that would also be hugely influential in Washington if Republicans took back the White House. The document itself sets out 4 main policy aims: restore the family as the centerpiece of American life, dismantle the administrative state, defend the nation's sovereignty and borders, and secure God-given individual rights to live freely. Government. Project 2025 proposes that the entire federal bureaucracy, including the independent agencies such as Department of Justice, be placed under direct presidential control, a controversial idea known as unitary executive theory. In practice, that would streamline decision-making and allowing the president to directly implement policies in a number of areas. The proposals also call for eliminating job protections for thousands of government employees who could then be replaced by political appointees. The document labels the FBI a bloated, arrogant, increasingly lawless organization. It calls for the drastic overhauls of this and several other federal agencies, as well as the complete elimination of the Department of Education. The Republican Party platform has absorbed many, but not all, of these ideas, and it includes a proposal to declassify government records, root out wrongdoers, and fire corruption employees. It pledges to slash regulation and government spending and explicitly calls for close the Department of Education, but it stops shortly of a sweeping overhaul of federal agencies as outlined in Project 2025. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Abortion families. The mentions of abortions in Project 2025, there are about 200 of them, have sparked some of the most contentious debate. The document does not call for an outright national abortion ban, and Trump says he would not sign such a law. However, it proposed withdrawing the abortion pill from the market and using existing but little enforced laws to stop the drug being sent through the post. Harris said during the presidential debate, understand it, the Project 2025, there would be a national monitor that will be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. That appears to be a reference to proposals in the document to bolster data collection on abortions. More general, the document suggests that the Department of Health and Human Services should maintain a biblically based social science reinforced definition of marriage and family. On abortions, at least, the document differs fairly substantially from the Republican platform, which only mentions the word abortion once. The platform says abortion laws should be left to individual states and that late-term abortions, which it does not define, should be banned. It adds that the access to prenatal care, birth control, and in vitro fertilization should be protected. The party platform makes no mention of cracking down on the distribution of the abortion pill. Immigration. Increased funding for a wall on the U.S.-Mexican border, one of Trump's signature proposals in 2016, is proposed in the document. Project 2025 also proposes dismantling the Department of Homeland Security and combining it with other immigration enforcement units and other agencies, creating a much larger and more powerful border policing operation. I'm not opposed to that. Other proposals include eliminating visa categories for crime and human trafficking victims, increasing fees on immigration, and allowing fast-track applications for migrants who pay a premium. I'm not opposed to that. Not all of those details are repeated in the Republican Party platform, but the overall headline are similar. The party is proposing to implement the largest deportation program in American history. I'm not opposed to that. Climate and economy. The document proposes slashing federal money for research and investment in renewable energy and calls for the next president to stop the war on oil and natural gas. So basically, to be pro oil and natural gas. Carbon reduction goals would be replaced by efforts to increase energy production and energy security. The paper sets out two competing visions of tariffs and is divided on whether the next president should try to boost free trade or raise barriers to import. But the economic advisor suggests that second Trump administration should slash corporate and income taxes, abolish the Federal Reserve, and even consider a return to gold-backed currency. I mean, why would they be bad? I don't think that's bad. The GOP party platform does not go as far as Project 2025 in these policy areas. The platform instead talks of bringing down inflation and drilling for oil to reduce energy costs, but is thin on specific policy proposals. And Trump himself has come out in favoring of raising tariffs on imported goods. All right, I'm not really mad at that. The only problem with that is that somebody said, glad we're going over this. Hey, man, like y'all asked me to. It is what it is. Even though you didn't super chat, I'm still doing it. Under the proposals, the P word, I can't say that on YouTube, will be banned. Tech and telecoms companies that allow access will be shut down. The documents calls for school, and I think that's they're kind of scared, right? Because I've been seeing like different things floating around on Twitter. These companies right here, they're scared. The document calls for school choice and parental control over schools and takes aim at what it calls woke propaganda. It proposes to eliminate long list of terms from all laws and federal regulations, including S orientation, gender equality, abortion, and reproduction rights. I mean, Project 2025 aims to end diversity, equality, and inclusion programs in schools and government department as part of what is described as a wider crackdown on woke ideology. The proposals in this policy area are broadly reflective in the Republican Party, which, in addition to calling for the abolishing of Department of Education, aims to boost school choice and parental control over education and criticizes what the party calls the inappropriate political indoctrination of our children. The plan's uncertain future. Prior to the swirling controversies around the proposal, Project 2025 was backed by a $22 million budget and includes strategy for implementing policies immediately after the presidential inauguration in July 2025, such as the creation of a database of conservative loyalists to fill government positions, and a program to train those new workers. But with the Trump campaign seeking to distance themselves from the project as future is in doubt, even if many of its core ideas seem likely to shape policy in a hypothetical second Trump administration, at the time, many of the proposals will likely face immediate legal challenges from Trump opponents if implemented. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below about that. Very interesting.
Funded college, free sex change surgeries.
Correct. And defund the
amnesty.
police.
No
And
problem,
defund the
Lily.
police. Don't forget, she was one of the leaders of defund the police. That means it's in her psyche, defunding the police. We have to do the opposite. We have to let the police do their job. We can't take away their house and their pension and their family and everything else if they are a little bit more aggressive. Our country is a crime-ridden country. When they go into department stores and they strip the store, and our police are standing out there wanting to do their job, but they're told, stand down, don't touch anybody. And they're walking out with refrigerators, and they're walking out with air conditioners. And there's hundreds of...
They let them walk away as long as it's under $1,000.
Yeah. Well, that was her policy. Anything under $950, you don't prosecute. But really, it's much worse. They don't prosecute anyway. The only ones they go after is me, people like me. They go after Catholics. They go after, and evangelicals will be next. This is a horrible group of people. These are very dangerous people.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll use limited resources to look into moms and dads at school board meetings as potential domestic terrorists.
That's right.
Yeah, so I heard, like, if you're, like, in the Catholic religion, they have an issue with you, like, working with the Kamala Harris administration, which is very, very interesting.
We're now, with the final week of this campaign, we have two very, very different closing arguments that have emerged. Kamala's closing argument, her surrogates, Nazi, fascist, racist, Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, and I thought this was supposed to be the campaign of joy. It doesn't seem very joyful to me. What's your reaction when you hear that?
They have no joy.
They have none. They're like separatists.
They took it away from a man. I'm not a fan of Biden, obviously, but he got 14 million votes. She got no votes. She was the last in 22 people ran. She was last. She came in last, never made it to Iowa. They went in and they said, you're not running anymore. We're taking it away. They took it away, and he gave up much more easily than I would have thought he would have. But this is not a campaign of joy for them. It's a campaign of hatred. You know, my father, and I mentioned this for the first time yesterday, I was in Pennsylvania, and I mentioned it. I said, my father, when I was young, never mentioned the name Hitler, ever. He was tough on it. Somebody would say Hitler. Never mention that name. Nazi. Never mention that.
Yeah, and now they're trying to attach that to the Republican Party. That is crazy.
Name. And he meant it too.
Lily said, poor James said it in his own comment. He said, now then, asked again, does he not get the year 2024?
And it was a word that you never use. You know, you never use those words.
It's the embodiment of
they
evil.
accuse me of being a Nazi. They accuse me of being a Hitler-type guy or a Hitler lover. And I'm not. I'm the opposite. They're the ones that are doing. They're oppressive. This is like an oppressive machine. And, you know, they also happen to have the press for whatever reason. But think of what they're fighting for. They're fighting for open borders where millions of people can pour into our country. Think of it. Millions of who can get elected with that? They're thinking of...
Isn't that crazy that they're fighting for that? I feel like they're fighting for that.
Having men playing in women's sports. You know, it's interesting.
I don't want no dude in the bathroom with my daughter. At all. I think that's ridiculous.
Politician now for 9 years. I hate to say I'm a politician, but I guess I'm a politician. Nobody's ever come to me and say, sir, it's really important that we let men playing women's sports. Sir, transgender operations all over the place are really important. Nobody ever brought this stuff up. They bring up, could you lower taxes? Could you do this? Could you do that? Could you help me here, my businesses, et cetera, et cetera. They bring up a lot of things. But nobody ever came to me and said, it's really important that we do this. Men should play in women's sports. I think it's got a constituency of about almost nothing, and yet they do it. Maybe it's because they want to destroy the country. I don't know.
Or gender-affirming care for minors.
Sure.
Care.
That's ridiculous for minors.
Without parental consent.
So a young man leaves for school and goes to school, and the authority takes him over without parental consent, and they do things to him that you don't want to know about? I mean, is this supposed to be America? I don't think so.
That doesn't sound
These
like...
people are radical people. And let me tell you, she's not a smart person. She's a low IQ individual. I've said it for a long time. She speaks so slowly. Everything's so slow. She thinks of answers.
Yo, he be low-key cooking her, though, bro.
They ask her a question. She talks about she was grown up with a lawn growing on her front yard. Everything is like... crazy. 60 Minutes protects her. 60 Minutes takes out her answer and puts a new answer in because her answer...
They should lose their license for that.
...was so bad. Could you imagine them doing... I'd love to have them do it for me. Think of it, John. 60 Minutes, CBS, they should lose their license. This isn't just editing. They took out her whole answer, every word, and they put a totally different answer in so that she looked better, because she looked like a very stupid person if they would have left the original answer. I've never even heard of a thing like that.
You mentioned your father, and you did have, I know the media would like to focus on the comments of one general, but you had, about a week or so ago, 200 former generals, admirals, all come out in support of you.
Nobody wants to talk about it. Yeah. Over 300 people from the administration, the most respected people. I see even Bill Barr's name was mentioned. And I said, well, that's nice. Because he understood, look, he understood I did a hell of a good job. And so did everyone. They signed a document.
It's crazy. Like, most people think he did a good job.
Over 300 people.
Even people that be talking crazy about him, I'm like, yo, how did you live? Like, in his presidency, they say, oh, it was pretty good. I just don't like him as a person. But you like living better.
The press will not put it out. I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for asking this question. But I had over 300 of the top people from intelligence, generals, everybody, from the administration.
Shout out to C4.
Trump was a great president. But the press won't put that out. They just don't. Look, we have a very, very corrupt and dishonest press. And I think with time it gets better because they're all doing pretty badly.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned your father said never say the word Nazi. And you even have NBC News comparing Madison Square Garden to a Nazi rally, and I'll get to MSG in a second, and I'll get to your closing arguments. But what's interesting is if you want to talk about the embodiment of evil, you talk about Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, and they are pounding this. That is their closing argument. This is the environment we're in.
But it's the only thing they can do, Sean, because look,
they can't
I had the best economy in history. I had the strongest border and the border wall. I built 500
No wars under Trump. Let's remember that.
miles of wall, and without that wall, nobody could do anything. You couldn't. Remember they used to say you don't need a wall. What are you going to do? Send some drones up to look?
She called it a vanity project.
Yeah, but now they have to do it.
Project.
Now they have to. In the meantime, they put in for funding to do a wall. Look, I had the best economy ever. We cut.
He earmarked $650 million for the wall.
More regulations than ever cut. I had no wars. Think of it, no wars. Except I finished off a war that they couldn't finish. They wouldn't have finished it off in 10 years. I did it in a few weeks. Yeah. ISIS. I knocked out ISIS. I rebuilt our military. I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our
You never hear of ISIS anymore.
Country. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We were lapping, think of it, we were lapping China. I took out hundreds of billions of dollars from China in the form of taxes and tariffs. Nobody thought it was even possible. And China respected us, and everybody respected us. Viktor Orban said he was the most respected leader. And now we have these clowns that look so bad. They make us look so bad. Nobody can believe what's happened to our country.
If their closing argument and their surrogates are doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down on Nazi, fascist, think of the environment we're in. In Butler, Pennsylvania, you came within a millimeter of being murdered, assassinated.
No.
We had Trump International. You had a would-be assassin in the bushes with an AK-47 with a scope on it. This is the environment we're in. I am told, you can confirm if you want or not, Iranian hit squads are in this country that want to assassinate you. And you have an entire establishment in the Democratic Party. Kamala's not telling them no. She's
not telling them no. She's just telling them he's more and more dangerous.
She herself is using some of these words. Tim Walz is using these Nazi analogies. And in light of the environment and what has happened and assassination squads being here, I mean, what is your reaction to the fact that they won't stand up morally and say, stop with the Nazi fascist garbage and let's argue on the issues of the day and whoever wins, wins?
They only go after consequential presidents. I'm very consequential. I make China pay. I had Iran ready to make a deal. They would have done anything now. They have $350 billion. They were broke with me. And I would have been very good to Iran. They had to have one thing, no nuclear weapons. You can't have nuclear weapons. Right. Nuclear weapons are the greatest danger to our country going forward, to the world going forward. It's not global warming. I'm an environmentalist. I do great things. We have the cleanest air. We have the cleanest water. But if the ocean rises 1/8 of an inch over the next 500 years, we'll handle that. What we don't want is global warming of the nuclear variety. And that could happen tomorrow.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
Very good interview.
Yeah, late stages of the campaign.
Yo, it's like the middle of the night and we got 46,000 views. Shout out to y'all.
Closing arguments, Kamala Harris resorting to Hitler hysteria. It ain't working. At least that's my view. Joining us now, Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House and Fox News contributor. I mean, Newt, this is the worst closing argument I've ever heard. And Democrats do this all the time. And ironically, half the Democrats running for the Senate.
Crazy closing argument.
Doing positive ads with Mr. Trump. So I call them Democrats for Hitler. But in a serious way, what kind of closing argument is this? Really? She's going to do the J6 thing back in 20. She's doing that tonight in Washington, D.C. in the mall. What do you think?
Well, I think they're proving that their entire inner circle comes from a different planet. First of all, if you're trying to be the agent of change, why would you give a speech in Washington, D.C., and why would you give it standing in front of the White House? I mean, talk about reminding people she's been vice president for 4 years. This has been her administration. It is a disaster. She can't possibly be the candidate of change. That's the dumbest scheduling. Personally, I'm looking forward to the speech because I want to see how dumb it is. I couldn't help myself the other day when I wrote Harris's Hitler hysteria, because that's the only way you can deal with it. First of all, it implies that...
So what am I eating this morning? I went to Costco and I got some mango habanero beef jerky.
Over half the country are Nazis. Now, I know that Hillary had contempt for everybody who wasn't her social friend, but this is ridiculous. As you know, Clifton and I were at the rally Sunday night, and I think it's Laura who said there were so many Israeli flags there, you couldn't quite imagine it was a Nazi rally.
President Joe Biden has stumbled into the election campaign, proving that his best contribution would really be to keep his mouth shut. His abuse of Donald Trump supporters will be a real dampener on the final days of the campaign for the Democrats. The fallout continues too from Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden on Monday, with Democrats and some in the media comparing it to a pro-Nazi event held nearby in the 1930s. Trump has scoffed at them.
The love in that room, it was breathtaking. There's never been an event so beautiful. It was like a love fest, an absolute love fest, and it was my honor to be involved.
New York.
I'm running out. Somebody give me a Cash App or like a super chat so I can buy some more.
Is, of course, a Democrat stronghold, but the former president styled himself as a homecoming champion. Kristen Tate gave us her take.
Oh, people loved it. Donald Trump is a New Yorker. That's where he's from. And there are lots of people in New York who love Donald Trump. Although, yes.
That is insane, filling up Madison Square Garden.
It's a blue state. I was there in New York City on election night in 2016, and it was incredible as they called the states for Donald Trump in Times Square. It felt like the whole city was bursting out in applause. There are lots of working people in that city, the firefighters, the cops, just the people going to work every day who are very patriotic. They love Donald Trump, and these are the people who go to the rallies. And you know what? You got to love Donald Trump for going to Madison Square Garden and these other places in New York, showing love to his supporters, even though it is a blue state and he won't win it. He still goes there and gives love to his supporters there in the blue states.
But incredibly, the Democrats, they just can't help themselves. The vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, compared it to a Nazi rally from the 1930s. And even now,
Bro, that rally was lit, bro. I don't want to hear that crap.
Leonardo DiCaprio has come out and endorsed Kamala Harris. So is J-Lo, and so is Beyonce. What do these celebrities have in common? We're gonna talk about it, but it starts with P and it ends with Diddy. Okay, so we'll be discussing that in just a moment. Also,
she about to go in on the Diddy-crats?
The news cycle. So let's start off with comedian Tony Hinchcliffe. If you're not familiar with him, he hosts a very popular podcast known as Kill Tony, where comedians get together. They introduce new comedians. People sort of audition for them and show off their comedy style to a wide-ranging audience. Tony Hinchcliffe, you've probably also seen him. I believe he was in the Tom Brady roast.
Yo, she got 2.19 million subscribers now. She cooking.
That happened.
Yo, y'all can't even give me 100. Can I get 100,000? Everybody almost got 1 million subscribers. Y'all trying to play me thug life. They trying to play me. Let me get 100,000. Stop playing. Hit the subscribe button.
Recently, he's a very abrasive comedian.
Y'all act like y'all like hate on me when I get 900,000. Y'all trying to hate, bro.
I kind of liken him. I know comedians don't like being compared to one another, but sort of like an Andrew Scholes style comedian. If you are very sensitive or you don't like really brash, offensive jokes, he's probably not the comedian for you. But he was recently at the Madison Square Garden Trump
Says she do be cooking.
rally in New York City, and he did some comedy. Now we're gonna watch a small clip so that you can get a feel for what his.
I noticed her and Devori got like low key the same setup. But are you dating Devori, lady? Let me see. Hold on. They both got like turntables.
You could put
knowledge. It's a different one. You see, like they got turn. Is this like the conservative table, like the turntable? She got a turntable right there.
His comedy style is, and then we're gonna get into the joke in question that is apparently pissing off Puerto Ricans everywhere. We'll talk about the Puerto Ricans who are also defending him, but first, let's introduce you to Tony here.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that Travis Kelce might be the next O.J. Simpson.
And some creators
Feels good in here.
Some creators are like annoyed with paying all this money in taxes, so they really want Trump to get it. They're like, we tired of this.
The other side's got a lot of crazy endorsements. Swift, Eminem, Leo DiCaprio, Beyonce. Every day the Democratic Party looks more and more like a P. Diddy party. Oh. Oh, okay.
The Diddy-crats, he ain't lying. He ain't lying.
Okay.
Usher, Beyonce, J-Lo, Leonardo DiCaprio, he ain't lying, bro.
That it does. That it does.
Hey, that's what you guys want. All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. You guys are...
That's terrible. You're... Terrible joke.
This is a groany little morning crowd, huh? It's tough to follow this audition for the next Commissioner Gordon's over here. It is, though. It's crazy times we're living in. I mean, all these pointless wars. It is unbelievable what's happening right now. It is incredible. Ukraine versus Russia, Israel, it's like bad soccer games. Who even cares? What are we doing? Why is our money involved in these wars? When it comes to Israel and Palestine, we're all thinking the same thing. Settle your stuff already. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors. You know the Palestinians are going to throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so there you go. You kind of get a feel for his style of comedy.
If
you are not interested in that style of comedy, some people just won't laugh. Others might be offended by it. Now, I'll be the first to admit he's not my favorite style of comedian.
I don't like him. I don't like him at all.
I don't typically gravitate towards like the Kill Tony, Andrew Schulz type of vibe, but I'm not offended by it in any way, shape, or
She likes Andrew Schulz. Did he shout her out or something?
form. I actually love going to different comedy shows and listening to all the different types of comedians that show up. And so many people have so many different styles. And you know what I say, that the final frontier of free speech is within comedy. You have every right to make fun of anybody and everybody when you are a comedian or when you're telling a joke. Now, with that being said, Tony decided to tell a little bit of a joke about Puerto Rico that's now going viral. And Kamala's HQ and her whole campaign is clipping this joke and funneling it through the media to talk about just how racist Trump rallies are. Let's roll the joke.
It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right.
Somebody said, no, it wasn't Elizabeth. Somebody said, exactly, James, we know you mismopped up all day. He said, I misspelled unbelievably. Isn't it like UNBELIEVABLY?
Okay, we're getting there.
Okay, and you kind of hear the crowd go, oh, which whatever. If you're going to be a comedian and you're going and telling 100 jokes within a set, a few of them aren't going to land. Some of them are. You'll be happy if you get some really big laughs. It's okay. He is that sort of style of comedian where most of the things he says are going to be pretty brash and offensive, and he'll sort of play on the crowd and see how they react. And maybe when they react like this, he's like, okay, well, I guess you weren't ready for that joke. We'll go in another direction. That's sort of his thing. Now, optically for the Trump campaign, would I have brought on a comedian to tell this style of joke if I was trying to be strategic? Probably not, because you know what the media is going to do. But on principle, I believe it's okay. Comedy is comedy. We should be able to tell jokes about anybody. If you can't handle the joke, or if you take
What about all the black people telling white jokes?
the joke out of context, or if you're super sensitive about it, that's your problem. My only issue is they sort of weaponize the media against the Trump campaign and against these Trump rallies, and they'll pull that little 15-second clip of him telling the joke about Puerto Rico, and all of a sudden it's all over the place. And when taken out of the context of this being a very popular comedian who's doing a set, people sort of go crazy and say, I can't believe.
Okay, subscribers. James said, Lily, he told him Lily. Rhodes said society is too sensitive. Comedians can't crack a joke anymore. And then Political Fisherman said, don't defend it. It was a bad decision. I said I didn't like him.
How racist these Trump rallies are, even though they haven't looked at the full set. They don't recognize that he's making fun of literally everybody throughout this full set. And it just sort of runs away from itself. Now, do I think this is going to impact the Trump campaign negatively all that much? Probably not. Tony's audience is predominantly male, which men are already voting for Trump anyways for the most part, especially if you're watching a comedian like him and you're a fan of his, you're most likely voting for Donald Trump, as he is the free speech candidate. He is sort of the candidate that is running with men's issues rather than Kamala Harris, who is constantly beating down men at any chance that she gets.
Yeah, she really doing that. Her and Michelle Obama is doing that.
So I'm not sure that he brought anybody in by being a part of this Trump rally, but if you're somebody who's offended by this joke about Puerto Ricans and you're saying Trump is a racist and we shouldn't vote for him because of what this comedian said, you probably already weren't voting for Trump anyways. So I feel like it's pretty net zero. His appearance didn't bring anybody in. It didn't take anybody away, but it's just something that now we're going to have to talk about. And it's yet another talking point that the left is going to weaponize against Donald Trump because of one thing said at a rally. Now,
Donald J. Plump said, if Republicans wanted to racist jokes at their rally, go right ahead. And then Gadget Fix Pro said, any snacks since you dumped old girl?
Never mind the fact that the left has their own comedians that go to their rallies, and Kamala Harris actually had George Lopez at a rally of hers. Now, let's
James Coleman said, black folks making excuses for white folks classic. Hey, man, I didn't make no excuses for that. Like I said, I didn't like it.
listen to what George Lopez has to say as a joke about Mexicans.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight, Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's just like how it hits. Like, I don't think the dude's jokes hit, but like if you really look at it, like to be real, like if you're looking at it from like a even, I mean, he's just telling jokes. He's not my type. I don't like roasting type comedians. That's just me. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Some people like it, some people don't. That's all.
Okay.
Like that guy felt like his joke hit a little bit better.
Okay, so Tony makes a joke about Puerto Rico being an island that has trash all over it. George Lopez makes a joke about Mexicans being thieves. Which one's worse? Weigh those out, right? Weigh those out. Mexicans are stealing thieves, and Puerto Rico has a lot of trash on the island. I think one sounds a little bit more racist than the other, but I have common sense, and I'm reasonable, and I believe in free speech, and I enjoy comedy, and I understand that he doesn't actually believe that all
You guys believe in free speech? I believe in free speech.
Mexicans are thieves, and Tony doesn't actually believe that Puerto Rico is just an island full of garbage, and it puts you on the back foot as a comedian because you get called out for a joke that suddenly people find offensive, and it's getting all this media attention, and then you kind of have to come out and explain the joke, and he's since come out and said, you know what, I'm a comedian, it's fair for me to say that. I vacation to Puerto Rico, all the time. I obviously love the island. The joke was just a joke, and it's kind of like when you get called a racist and you have to go, oh, I have a black friend, or my nephew's mixed and he's half Mexican.
Yo, her mic is like hot, like turned up, like that gain is turned up a lot. You got like for her to have her mic all the way down there, like bro, they gotta have that mic like cranked up, bro.
Like, don't explain yourself to somebody after they've called you out with something totally unreasonable. It just makes you look dumb. And of course, the left is doing the same thing, but it gets no media attention when the left does it. When George Lopez goes to a Tim Walz rally and says, you know what, Mexicans are thieves, it's silence. Never mind the fact that we have plenty in the media to substantiate the...
All right, so y'all like free speech. The reason I'm asking y'all this, right? Let me show y'all this.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing...
You're called an enemy.
Yeah, he be playing music, bro.
Live and make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, he got 3 million subscribers. Y'all don't give me 100,000. Stop playing with me, Thug Life. Thug Life. Give me 100,000 right now.
I'm in CNN. My raw feeling about this, and I know all of you guys agree with me. I'm so sick of these people. They just a pit in my stomach. Every time I hear them talk, they're so vile and they're such hypocrites, man. The lunacy and hypocrisy from the left is...
Marsha said, no free speech on YouTube. My comment disappeared when not on live. Lily said, James. She's talking to James.
At epic proportional numbers. It's insane. Maybe the better word would be epic proportion. It's insane the way they act. They got all in their feelings about this conservative commentator who I'm assuming they signed to a deal where he's a contributor with CNN because he, did a low blow on a guy who was talking crazy. And now you want me to die? You want me to die? All right, so if you guys haven't seen the clip, some of you seen it at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, I just noticed we all got like the same microphone. Like, what the heck? I just noticed that, like, what? Why does everybody have the same microphone that do YouTube?
Video. Let's go to ground.news.
Hold on. So, Steel Rain said, I contribute to your subs, baby. Girl, no worry. You are on the way to 1 million. James Coleman said, he more against your people than you, player. Go a little more against your own. and you will get them subscribers.
Real quick, because I want to show you how crazy and important this is.
I'm gonna be real. Like, you ain't real. Hey, James Coleman, you ain't really lying about some type of people. Like the Hodge twins. I don't want to say nothing too bad about them, but they're like anti-black. Ain't they mixed? They're like completely anti-black, and their subscribers are crazy. You know, but he's like I don't know. Like I've been watching a little bit of him. I don't know. I haven't seen, but yeah, like you low key right. Like the Hodge twins are anti anything black related. Like they are anti, and that's why they subs is like going crazy. That's probably what it is.
At the same time, check this out. This is why I love Ground Out News, and all of you guys who hear me talk about it, you know why. You can look at the way people are reporting this, right?
Hey, y'all white people really like that though. Like shout out to the white people, but I'm just saying, like y'all be like if a YouTube creator is against black people, y'all be subscribing like crazy. Like it's not just like the Hodge twins, like that black conservative dude, like he anti-black too, from what I could see. And he got like almost 1 million subscribers. So I'm just asking, like, what y'all think about that?
A conservative gets banned from CNN. Well, 20 leftist outlets.
Somebody said not a foundational black American man. Yeah, they date Spanish chicks and they mad mixed. And then Grenifer said they call out bad behavior. Which one? You talking about the Hodge? No, bro. I was watching the Hodge twins. They made me mad like 3 different times in 1 week. I'm like, man. And then they had that dude from Fresh and Fit. I think his name is Marlon or something like that. He was on there and he was talking about Sandra Massey. I think that's her name is. And he was saying like, oh, that was a good, the police did a good job. That was a good shot. Like, I'm like, what is he talking about? Myron, that's his name. I'm like, yo, they not going to check this dude. And they basically just let dude like they are anti-black, bro. Like they are, bro. I don't care. They are. And then Cody Otis says, shout out to the white people. Space said, I follow all of them. Don't find any of them to be anti-black. You must be white, Space. Because if you're like black and you watching them, like they are anti-black, bro. And then I can even show you, like, let me go to they, not to be picking on them or nothing. What are they, Hodge twins? They be saying the most, they got 2.9 million followers. That's crazy, bro. They don't post. Do they even post anybody black? They like all white. I don't think they like black people, bro. So wow. I mean, you conservative. I mean, it just is what it is. But I really don't think these dudes, because it was like some people fighting or something, and they're like, that's black culture, and I'm like, man. Video, everything you see, this is crazy. Need help identifying this guy that just dropped off an insane amount of ballots. No, that's different. Let me show y'all this, because I was like, what? Like, these dudes are like anti-black, bro. Hold on. No, they tweet a lot, man. I can't even find it. They tweet a whole lot. Yo, they tweeted all that in one day? They don't have nothing black on here. Like, and then if they do have a black person on there, it's like saying something negative about them. These people are freaking insane, black lady.
I didn't think that I was just going to.
And I don't want to vote for Kamala Harris either, but it was something. All right, black people. Uh-oh. They don't like black people, bro. What are they mixed with? I'm not saying everything got to be black, but like I noticed that about them. Puerto Rican American destroys the leftist narrative about what the comedian said. I think I already played that. They're showing black. Yeah, dude, I don't think they like black people, bro. I don't think they do. But they're probably just playing to their base. Somebody said that's all right. One black conservative, he retweeted. Who voted? That's dope. I mean, other than that, like they'll pick out stuff like if black people are fighting or something, they'll say, "See, that's black culture." Like, and you just watch. She can be shown the lights. Yo, what? Nah, bro. These dudes do not to be like that, bro. But these dudes do not like black people, bro.
Only 12 Republicans. We can see why.
Yeah, they say that just because they say the N-word doesn't mean they like black people. Like they don't. Like I've seen like some post to them, and I'm like, bro, you wildin'. Dear Democrats, do this to my kids and all right. Yeah, bro. Like it's just if you go to they yo, they got a massive fam. But you gotta think like they probably got all these white people that don't like black people. They don't even look black. Like they look that's terrible to say, but they don't, bro. They didn't embrace the whole super like nah, bro. Y'all tell me what y'all I'm about to look at the comments in a second. These dudes are not bro. They don't, bro. Media. I mean, they only posting white people. It's their base. All right, they got a black girl. It says the fact that Twitter X is being banned in Brazil because looking for a black person. These just do not like white people, bro. I mean, black people. They don't. And if you just watch their YouTube, they don't. I don't know if they had a bad experience or they're just pandering to their base. All right, so a black person, right? And they say N-words for Trump 2024. I can't get with these dudes, bro. I can't, man.
Obviously, it's 44% biased towards the left.
Somebody said, I know you're big in the rap scene, but all this thug S-word involved with this is toxic. Inner city ghetto culture is what are you talking about? Somebody said Diddy didn't help the violent label. I don't like Kamala. We ain't calling her that. Somebody said you're too focused on. No, I'm just saying what it is. Like they don't like black people, bro. This guy, I don't know much about him. I you know what I'm saying, I've seen him a little bit, but he used to be a cop. Like cops are a lot of cops don't like black people either, bro. I'm just saying what it is.
But let's look at the headlines. This is where you know.
So that could be why like the channel ain't moving. I mean, like people might not like my personality or whatever. I mean, I got like 28,141 views in like 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 28,141 subscribers in 3 weeks. But like these people, like look, like Hot Twins got millions, and this dude's got 3.2 million. Maybe that's what it is. Like I'm not because a lot of these guys are anti-black, bro. They are. But we about to watch him and see what he think.
What's real and what's fake and how they making up stuff. Let's go to the left. You click leftist headlines. These are the outlets to the left.
Red Hunter said it's pretty obvious. And then Lone Santa Tatum is a G. We about to see. We about to find out.
Did you just say I should die? Trumper booted from CNN for a joke, quote unquote. CNN banned conservative writer after beeper comment to Muslim commentator. Where's the one that I saw about racism? CNN bans, and this is a CNN article.
I see you later, Griffiner.
Bans conservative commentator who made a racist joke on air. Racist joke. And then you go to the conservative side, and you can see you're gonna hear a very different message. contributor, journalist.
That's smart how he got it though. Like you could just see like everything. Let's go.
Banned from CNN after spat with ex-MSNBC host who labeled Trump supporters Nazis. That to me, that's more accurate as to what happened. So the article I was looking for was actually a biased comparison. It wasn't the article. It says the gentleman, Hassan, extreme views led to the cancellation of his weekend show on MSNBC after October the 7th attacks by Hamas. So
Elizabeth Turner said, we're exhausted with all the hate. Nicole said, your personality is fine. These content creators play to a certain audience.
The right is reporting, in my opinion, about
That's what people are telling me, like in real life. They're just like, yo, like, just play to be an anti-black. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm black. I'm black. Like, so, I mean, if me, like, not hating my own people will mean me not getting 1 million subscribers, so be it. Like, because I'm not about to do that now. I'm Republican, but I'm not about to do all that.
The totality of circumstances here and in context, and the left isn't. So let me just show you this real quick thing about the blind spot. So you got to be mindful of the blind spot. I would say every person that follow me need to look at this. The right, these are certain things that are coming up that the leftists are reporting about that you need to be informed about so you know what's going on. Same thing with the leftists. These things on the right that's being reported on that they don't want, they better be paying attention to it. They're going to get caught off guard. What? Anyway, go to ground.news /.
You said ground news. Somebody said ground news. It's unbiased news.
They couldn't wait for somebody to say something off color so they can go play.
Yo, he was going in on Sarah Palin yesterday. Did y'all see that? I watched that. I was like, bro, this is wild.
Feelings.
Because she said something like, since the president's not going to say it, like, and let the police loose on the dogs or something like that. But he was like, yo, you call Black Lives Matter people dogs. And she was like, I didn't say that. You are a liar. And they was going back and forth for a minute. He was like kind of cooking her. But the way she had made that statement, and we looked up her statement and we read the statement, it could be construed what he's talking about. You know, and she didn't know how to like counter him. So she was like mad. She was like, you're a liar. You're a liar. Like she was going in, bro.
They couldn't wait for somebody to say something off color so they can go play the crazy victim. Just wait till you see what we put together in this video. I'm going to prove them wrong, and you're going to see what a hypocrite they are. If you feel like what he said was off color and inappropriate, then just keep that same energy. But when he says something, but the host that he said it to has...
He seemed kind of boring, for real. I mean, I'm boring right now. I'm tired, but like I do low-key seem boring, for real. Thug life. Let's see.
If we're just going to do 4 years.
Look at the inflation rate.
Yep.
My bad. I'm not trying to like diss him or nothing like that. Shout out to him. Maybe he just seemed boring, bro.
Go into a grocery store, see what it costs to buy a dozen eggs, to buy a pound of butter.
I used to want to clap, bro. I'm not going to lie. Thug life. Sarah Palin, like back in the day, I was like, ooh. She got older now, but
to fuel up your truck.
No, lone courier, you're not going nowhere. You stand here. Wait a minute.
But look at the polls. But look at the polls, by the way, which show the two biggest issues for American voters in this election by far
We're not better
are the
off
economy,
today.
cost of living, and immigration. And that is why, if Trump ends up winning, it will be on those two issues.
Can we agree for the first time in the show? I agree with you that the polling is bad on the economy. The Americans, the vibes are bad on the economy.
We're not better
But the
off
point
today.
Destiny made just now is that facts also matter. So, you know, I thought it was a conservative line, facts don't care about your feelings. I don't care that Americans feel bad about the economy. The numbers are very clear. Every economist says the same thing. Every survey shows the same thing. Real wages are actually higher today than they were in September 2020. They are. Real wages are higher. Real wages, you don't...
I don't think she was ever really a good debater, though. Like, just me being all the way real.
What real wages are? What do you mean not factoring?
No.
Real wages factoring inflation, Sarah Palin.
No.
That's what real wages are. Factoring inflation,
Exactly.
real wages are higher
Factoring,
today
and no,
than
they're
in
not.
September
No, they're
2020. In fact, wages have outstripped prices for...
She said she was a Tenderloin. Man, I used to see Sarah Palin in red. I used to be, oh my God.
the last 20 straight months. Household net worth is at a record high. Unemployment is at a 50-year low.
I think she date like a black dude too.
We now have 6
I was like, I got a chance.
million fewer people
So
unemployed.
why do the vast majority of Americans feel worse off?
Sorry?
Are they all lying about
I think
being worse
inflation
off?
took a toll, huge toll.
So they are worse off.
But the inflation's now down, right?
Hannibal said, yeah, Sarah kind of airheaded. She's like, I think I've seen her debate before, and I was just like, yo, she not that great of a debater. But he about to cook her, bro.
Lowest inflation rate since
Are they
February
worse off
2021.
then?
No, because now real wages
They're
are
not.
up.
You just
No.
said you inferred they were.
Have prices decreased
First of all,
then?
first of all, again, I agree that Americans are upset about prices. I'm upset about prices. But it was a global problem, was it not? Did you not just say the pandemic was a global problem?
Why would they
was
be
inflation not a global problem?
Why would they be upset about prices if they're not worse off?
Because
Prices
they
is
were.
one
Hold on. In 2022, when we hit record high levels of inflation, if I'd sat on your show
So they
then...
still feel worse off today.
We still have that...
Somebody said, I even wonder how she's even a politician. I mean, she's in Alaska. Like, it's like not too many people to choose from, I think.
Inflation is cumulative. It's year over year. It adds
So they
up.
are worse off
Hold
then.
on, Piers.
No, that's one factor. Prices are just one thing. Wages are another thing. Net worth is another thing.
I already conceded. Do people feel worse off? Yes, but the numbers say something else.
So
Do you understand
they're
there's
all
a difference?
completely deluded.
Yeah, people not deluded, but people. You think the public know everything
You
about
are
everything?
underestimating the wisdom of the people.
There's polling on this. You can look at the YouGov polls. You can see.
Yo, she worth like $8 million.
You can see.
Been, by the way, since Joe Biden was
I think the
running for
Republican
office,
Party
and this
itself
has,
is all about
all right.
fame.
So this has actually been the official Democratic line, which is that this is a great economy. They were saying this back this summer when Joe Biden was in. It's a great economy. All of the numbers show it. All of the economists say it. But there's this problem where people just don't agree.
They
and
don't
people are so
understand.
stupid
Hold on,
that
they
they
don't
think
know
that-
they're
just
actually
hold on, just
better
give me
off.
one second. Let me get a sentence out here. Listen, as you guys kind of just alluded to there, look, the problem with inflation is that it is cumulative. And so even though the inflation rate has come down,
prices
that's
are
just
still going up.
adding to the prices.
Correct.
And people have been absolutely destroyed over the last 3.5 years over this price inflation. It is literally everybody I know has felt the pressure of it. Even people who make like really good money, it's been very, very difficult. I do not think this is something that is at the lays at the feet of one party or the other. The truth is that Donald Trump in the year 2020, when not all Trump, but his government.
Bro, look at her house, bro. Nah, bro, she worth bank. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Locked down the economy and added $6 trillion to the money supply in the year 2020. That was going to result in some price inflation.
But
Biden then in 2021 came in. They kept the money printing going.
But it was
They
also a
kept the
global issue,
government.
Dave. You accept
I'm
it was a
not
global
denying there was inflation problems around the globe. I'm saying we're talking about America right now. This is something that is now the politics of it are that the actual price inflation pretty much all fell on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's watch, and that's very difficult to get yourself out
Can
from
I just say
under.
one point about this thing about you say about facts and feelings? I can prove to you that Americans are not doing this as some kind of rational calculation. I can prove it to you. If the Americans people really cared about inflation and prices, that's their number one issue, then they would vote Harris. Because every single economist, 95% of economists, according to a University of Chicago survey, say they will pay higher in tariffs.
Why are people saying he's like a conservative? No, he is not. Because on this, he was just super Harris.
Tariffs will bring up inflation. Every serious economist in this
But you're
country...
missing the- you're
No,
missing-
Piers, you're missing the point. Because if inflation is
Yeah,
your number one
I've
issue...
made my point.
Because you let me finish mine, you jumped in. If inflation is their number one issue, then they should be voting for Harris. Okay. That proves that inflation's not their top
Here's
issue.
the problem. The problem is that the reality of the inflation issue, as you've all basically admitted, is that inflation, by very definition, is increasing prices even if the rate comes down. So Americans are paying consistently, month by month by month, for the entire Biden-Harris administration. They're paying more when they go to the grocery
But
store.
their wages
as
have gone
Sarah
up too,
did.
Piers. This is
I mean, wages have gone up a little bit. It just hasn't caught up to inflation. So that dude is like low-key right, Piers.
the key part of economics.
But the vast,
real wages have
but
gone
the
up.
vast
That's what you're
majority
missing.
of working class people in America
Their wages have gone up.
they feel worse off, and that is going to ultimately is going to resonate.
we're kind
at
of
the
not
bottom.
really
Bro, she not like, I'm talking about like back in the day when Sarah Palin was, I'm talking about like Like way back in the day. Like when I seen Sarah Palin, I thought she was, bro, you lying if you didn't think she looked good back in the day.
Disagree. At the very beginning, I said I take your point about feelings.
Yeah.
I'm just saying facts show that they're better off. If you want to answer the question that Trump asked honestly, people are better off
Okay,
today.
let's turn to war, because that should calm down the debate. Destiny, look, obviously it's a pretty consequential election in many ways, but not least, I would argue, for the fate of people in Gaza.
Hold on, back in the, man, her house is nice, bro. I thought my house was nice. Like, nah. Yo, her house crapping on my house, bro. Bro, back in the day, bro, she could get it, bro. What are you talking about? You was bugging.
And Ukraine and other hotspots around the world. Where are we with these? I mean, it's quite interesting to me that for the first time I can remember, you have a body of Republicans who do not want to back, say, Ukraine against a Russian dictator that illegally invaded their country. I remain very perplexed and surprised that is the view. And Sarah, we can come to you for why that may be. But that is the case. If Trump was to win, he says he'll fix it all in 24 hours. I don't think he will. But he will try and do a deal.
Didn't she even debate Biden back in the day? Bro, I like white girls. Like, I mean, like, that's no lie.
The question is, what is that deal? Because Ukraine is saying they're not going to give up an inch of the land.
So the issue is that Donald Trump is a 4-year-old when it comes to understanding any issue, but especially foreign policy. And a lot of people have this, they're obsessed with this idea of peace in their mind, which if you're in conflict, peace is the furthest thing from your mind. You want some kind of justice.
This dude is like real silly because it's interesting, like now that we've been like looking at all these videos, listening to him talk, he literally knows nothing. He's just like this guy that's got a complex that talks, but his points be wrong. Like, this dude don't know nothing, bro.
Peace or justice, right? So Trump's solution for Ukraine is just give up the land that's been taken from you and everything will be kosher, just like Russia did in Moldova with Transnistria, just like Russia did with South Ossetia, and I can't even pronounce the other place in Georgia, and just like Russia's trying to do now with Ukraine. If you're somebody that wants, justice for Ukraine, and you want the United States to remain a world leader when it comes to, ensuring trade routes or being somebody that the world looks to ensure relative peace and freedom and stability throughout places like Europe, which it has enjoyed historically more in the past 30 years than it had in the 200 years prior to that. Donald Trump obviously is not going to do that for you. If you're somebody who's very concerned about the Israeli-Gaza conflict,
you low-key look like my girlfriend a little bit, Sarah Palin. I ain't gonna show y'all what my girlfriend looked like, but she low-key looked like her a little bit.
conflict. I mean, you've got Donald Trump, who wholeheartedly, he said it before, will support Israel basically no matter what, with absolutely, no contention whatsoever. You've got a guy who agreed to moving the embassy, who before that was talking about pulling all of the UNRWA funding from the Gaza Strip, who would support Netanyahu through and through. The whole reason why those Abraham Accords started was because Netanyahu wanted to start annexing parts of the West Bank, right? Donald Trump is not going to help any of the Palestinians if that's something that you're concerned about. Insofar as peace in the Middle East, I mean, you've got this talking point over and over again, no new wars, no new wars. Yeah, again, we haven't had any new wars since World War II, right? The war in Iraq was the use of force authorization, the authorization of the use of force, but it wasn't technically a war.
Well, it was,
Trump,
it was a war.
You can call it that, but Donald Trump bombed Syria. Donald Trump bombed Syria. That wasn't a war, apparently. Yeah, with no congressional authorization. Iran attacked Saudi Arabia. They did a drone strike on oil refineries. There was conflict all throughout Iraq and Syria. Donald Trump abandoned Kurdish allies in Syria. Donald Trump signed a deal with the Taliban and essentially forfeited Afghanistan.
I can't do this to it, bro.
These wars were costing trillions of dollars cumulatively to get nowhere, really. What's your assessment of Trump on the foreign stage?
And there's huge conflicts of interest also with this war machine that our country has seemed to have embraced and allowed to perpetuate. I'm voting for Trump because I hate war. And I don't know if any of you, I hate that it's the old men who call for wars and they send our young men to go fight those wars for them, our young men and our young women. And, all politics are personal. I don't know if any of you have a real personal connection with those who have been sent to war zones. And then the guys, the gals, they come back different people. They're adversely affected. On a personal level here, I will do whatever I can, and I will support whatever candidate needs support in order to avoid war. Why I will not support Kamala is she doesn't understand, for one, that inherent link between energy development, energy independence in America, and that inherent link between that and our safety and our sovereignty. And because Kamala and because the Democrat Party has put an end to so much of our exploration, certainly so much of our development of our own natural resources.
Isn't America producing more energy today than we have in all of history?
No, we're not. And
that's not true? We're not?
No, we're not. And
okay.
Remember, Kamala and her administration, day one, they stopped pipelines, no more drilling on federal land.
So,
They did.
So we looked
They
up,
did.
America's not producing
They
more energy.
did.
You ran with McCain.
They did.
You said you care about veterans and everything. Did Trump's comments about McCain bother you at all? Did Trump prefers people that didn't get captured?
I've never said anything negative about McCain or any.
I didn't ask if you
POW
said it.
or
I asked if
anything
Trump's
else.
comments bother you about that.
Anyway,
when Trump made fun
She said, so anyway.
that Gold Star family for their child, did that bother you?
They bother me. I wrote a column criticizing him heavily
she just said
for
she
it.
cares about vets. I had two parents who served in the Air Force. I'm just curious, if you cared about vets, did these comments bother you?
If
when
I
Trump
care
tried to go to
about
Arlington
vets,
and do a photo
if
op
I
there.
care about vets,
Yeah, if
really,
you do, did these comments
really,
bother you?
If I care about
Yes,
vets.
if you cared about vets,
so
I'm asking, do these comments bother you?
the inherent link between energy and prosperity and
It's
energy
going to talk
security.
about whether or not Trump's comments about McCain
You
bother you?
interrupted the point that I was going to make.
Because
You
you're not making
changed
any
the
points. These
subject,
are political
dude.
talking points. Are we running for office in here?
Really, really.
You did run for office, by the way. You ran with John McCain, the most warmongering man
Oh, they jumping her right now.
that we know of. Why did you run with John McCain?
The point to make.
Why did you run with John McCain? If you're anti-wars,
To make a positive difference in our
but he would have sent more people to die.
You don't know that.
I do. He literally said, "Bomb, bomb, bomb Iran." He sang it. He sang it.
He did campaign.
He campaigned on a war
He campaigned on
platform.
100 years in Iraq.
He campaigned on staying in Iraq 100 years and bombing Iran.
You're asking why I accepted the nomination to
I'm just
run
wondering,
for
you're
Vice
sitting
President
here
of the
saying
United States of
you're
America?
against war abroad, and yet I just want to remind younger viewers at home, you ran with the most warmongering senator of my lifetime.
And you're asking why I ran for Vice President of the United States
No,
of
no, I
America?
know why you ran. You wanted power.
I'm
I'm just saying why you're not consistent.
I mean,
Maybe
to be fair to
pointless
Palin,
question.
Vance accepted the nomination, and he said that Trump could be America's next Hitler. So, I mean, you know.
All right, why don't we try and be a little fairer to the ex-governor, because she's on her own.
You said, isn't that one kid a YouTuber? I don't know who he is.
It was a question. It was a question.
Somebody said Hodge Twins the best. If you say so.
Brutal
And I
males.
wanted to talk about energy and America's need
Why y'all be like so worried about my sleep?
Well, what you said was
for
false about energy. Facts matter too.
and
America has record energy production right now.
No.
It does.
What's
People
false?
can Google it right now
when
and see
I
that you're not
said
telling
that
the
on
truth.
day one, what the Biden administration did was halt so much of our exploration
we have record energy
and our
production.
construction of pipelines. And
I'm not a fan of that, by the way. I think we should have less energy production.
You lied.
I'm a critic of
You're a
Biden on his
liar.
energy production.
You're a liar. You lied.
I'm
and
a
you,
liar.
Yes, and you said.
She said, you lie. You're a liar.
Energy and America's
Yeah, finish your point. What you said was
for
false about energy. Facts matter too.
and
America has record energy production right now.
No.
It does.
What's
People
false?
can Google it right now
when
and see
I
that you're not
said
telling
that
the
on
truth.
day one, what the Biden administration did was halt so much of our exploration
we have record energy
and our
production.
construction of pipelines. And
I'm not a fan of that, by the way. I think we should have less energy production.
You lied.
I'm a critic of
You're
Biden
a
on his
liar.
energy production.
You're a liar. You lied.
I'm
and
a
you,
liar.
Yes, and you said. No, Biden didn't do that. Yes, he did on day one.
Do you know he handed out more licenses to Trump? Do you know that?
I'm making the point that you denied. My point is true.
Destiny said energy's higher, and you said no. So if anyone lied, you did.
Listen.
People can DVR it. They can rewind it and see you saying a false statement.
Let me
To
ask
just
you-
energy production higher. Is
You
energy
don't
production
think
higher
that
today?
Biden- You don't think that Biden
Is energy
thwarted
production
our
higher under Biden than
exploration?
Trump?
And you just
Is
lied
energy production
and
higher,
said
Sarah
that-
Palin?
that
It's a very simple
Biden
question.
didn't
I know
do it.
facts are not your strong point. Is energy production higher today under Biden than under Trump? It's a simple yes or no
You're
question.
an obnoxious.
Yo, she can't control her. She said, you obnoxious. She is funny, bro.
Denied. My point is true.
Destiny said energy's
that-
higher, and you said no. So if anyone lied, you did.
Listen.
People can DVR it. They can rewind it and see you saying a false statement.
let me
to
ask this
Destiny.
question.
So you don't
That energy
think that-
production higher. Is
you
energy
don't
production
think
higher
that
today?
Biden- You don't think that Biden
Is energy
thwarted
production
our
higher under Biden than
exploration?
Trump?
And you just
Is
lied
energy production
and
higher,
said
Sarah
that-
Palin?
that
It's a very simple
Biden
question.
didn't
I know
do it.
facts are not your strong point. Is energy production higher today under Biden than under Trump? It's a simple yes or no
You're
question.
an obnoxious.
See, but
facts hurt, don't you? Facts don't care about your feelings.
Are Americans wrong when they have this feeling? Well, the feelings
I'm
oftentimes are
obnoxious
generated
because I
from
asked you if energy production's higher today than under Trump.
Yeah, Sarah Palin getting cooked, bro. And like she don't even know how to handle it because he just like rattling stuff off because he knows she can't keep up. Like that, that's dirty.
Do you know that? I'm making the point that you denied. My point is true.
Destiny said energy's higher, and you said no. So if anyone lied, you did.
Listen.
People can DVR it. They can rewind it and see you saying a false statement.
Let me
to
ask this
Destiny.
question.
So you don't
energy
think
production high. Is
you
energy
don't
production
think
higher
that
today?
You don't think that Biden
Is energy production higher under Biden than Trump?
And you just
Is
lied
energy production
and
higher,
said
Sarah Palin? It's a very simple
Biden
question.
didn't
I know
do it.
facts are not your strong point. Is energy production higher today under Biden than under Trump? It's a simple yes or no question.
You're an obnoxious.
See, but
facts hurt, don't you? Facts don't care about your feelings.
Are Americans wrong when they have this feeling? Well, the feelings
I'm
oftentimes are
obnoxious
generated
because I asked
from
you if energy production's higher today than under Trump.
You're
that makes me
obnoxious
obnoxious.
because I'm asking you why you would say that
I mean,
Biden
I'm obnoxious.
didn't thwart.
You're a
He
racist.
didn't
We want to play
thwart-
that game?
Oh.
You said Obama is not born in America.
Yeah, Marcus Chapman, she want to crash out right now.
He's not one of us.
I
He's
said that?
Yeah, you said Trump is doing a great job asking for his birth certificate.
I said that?
You said he's not one of us. You said he jives and schmucks. Should we go down the record? You're going to call me obnoxious? Why don't we talk about your racism?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about your racism?
Why do you change the subject
You
instead
said
of
Black
just
Lives Matter
answering a
protesters are dogs.
question?
Should we go down?
I said they're dogs.
all right,
You're
hang
a
on.
liar.
All right,
Show me where I ever said that protesters
It's funny you didn't deny
are
the
dogs.
Obama. You say Obama's shocking and jive.
You're a liar.
Maddie, if you get
She said you're a liar. She did say since they won't put police out there to call off the dogs, maybe Trump should say something or something like that. She said she didn't call like Black Lives Matter people dogs, but she low-key insinuated it. So it's up for interpretation. So by him grabbing that and attacking her with that, like she can't necessarily call him a liar because it's the way she said it that left it up to interpretation. And he's real clever by taking like little tidbits of information and just like turning them on you.
Not born in America. He's not one of us.
I
He's
said that?
Yeah, you said Trump is doing a great job asking for his birth certificate.
I
You said he's not one of us. You said he jives and schmucks. Should we go down the record? You're going to call me obnoxious? Why don't we talk about your racism?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about your racism?
Why do you change the subject
You
instead
said
of
Black
just
Lives Matter
answering a
protesters are dogs.
question?
Should we go down?
I said they're
all right,
dogs.
all right,
You're
hang
a
on.
liar.
All right,
Show me where I ever said that protesters
It's funny you didn't deny the Obama. You say Obama's
Let
shocking
me-
and jive.
You're
all right.
a liar.
Maddie, if you get the governor on your show, which is, I would say, unlikely as things stand, if you
do
do,
it
you can continue the prosecution. Let me just segue to this, though, because it's
I
interesting.
called people dogs who were protesting in
believe you
America.
I
You're a
believe you did.
liar.
Did you question Obama's birth?
Oh my goodness!
Did you say he's not one of us?
You know, based
Did you say he's
on
palling around
that-
with terrorists?
Based on that alone.
She dated a black dude, didn't she? This is a dude she dated. This dude, I don't know his name, but they dated before, so I wouldn't say she's a racist. I think she dated him, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we're talking about Bill Ayers at the time and how
So you stand by
Obama
that?
had kicked off.
You're standing by Obama's with terrorists?
Entire. Oh my goodness! I can't believe
Did
you
you
even
say he's
have
not
a
one
show.
of us?
If you,
Did you say Obama's not one of us?
I still want to know this proof that you.
Yo, she is mad. I can't believe you even have a show if you.
Palling around with terrorists.
Based on that, well, we're talking about Bill Ayers at the time and how
So you stand by
Obama
that?
had kicked off.
You're standing by Obama's with terrorists?
Entire. Oh my goodness! I can't believe
Did
you
you
even
say he's
have
not
a
one
show.
of us?
If you.
Did you say Obama's not one of us?
I still want to know this proof that you have of me calling protesters in America dogs.
I believe you refer to Black Lives Matter protesters that
I
way. If
believe
I'm wrong,
you
I'll
are
happily
wrong.
withdraw
All
that
right,
comment.
we'll fact check after this. I want to ask you this, Maddie, because you're being very vocal and taking on Sarah Palin.
I mean, I got called obnoxious for pointing out energy production levels.
I
so
don't
yes.
think you would win a court case about
No,
not being
you're
obnoxious. But let's
because
move
you
on.
lied
Let's move on.
about Biden not thwarting our
I can also be
exploration and
obnoxious before you
development.
play the what aboutery. Let me just ask you this, though. Given that you believe Trump is, a racist who's holding neo-Nazi style rallies and so on, why is it that he's gaining significant ground with black and Latino voters? Why would they gravitate to a man who is literally, in your eyes, the new version of a Nazi?
It's a good question.
What y'all think? You said Sarah made a mistake going on there unprepared. Yeah. She probably just thought, like, because of who she is, they would respect her. Nah, this dude is trying to make a name for himself. And then somebody said, to be honest, I know a white girl that dated a black friend and called him the hard R after they broke up. So dating a race doesn't really prove not racist. You could say that. Still, that means nothing. Laugh my A word. Obviously, mad and S word is sad. Do you not live in the real world? And then Josette said, when a man crosses his legs like that, he's in his element and comfortable. Jay said, freedom of speech is a double-edged sword. Sound intelligent or sound. I can't say that on YouTube. JJ said, people say stuff because they know it hurts.
I think because minority communities are not monoliths. I'm having the same issues in my own Muslim community where a lot of Muslims...
Can you imagine being like a dude that smashed Sarah Palin?
Not a lot, but some Muslims are actually going to vote for Trump because they're upset about Gaza. They think he's the peace candidate.
Yeah, Michigan.
And I think people have different reasons. I think we can make generalizations about entire communities. I'm not going to make generalizations about black
incredible.
or
You have the
Latino voters. Although I think it's slightly exaggerated. There's an ABC poll that came out on Sunday.
You have a woman...
There's an ABC poll that came out on Sunday that shows Harris is doing better with black and Latino men than Joe Biden did in 2020.
But the significant thing, Dave, is that Trump's own popularity with black and Latino voters is significantly increased.
What is that popularity? What are the numbers that we're talking here? Are we going from like 11% to 17%?
I think I read on African Americans, it's something like from about 4 or 5% to nearly 20%. That's significant.
It depends on what polls you look at. And again, like we'll figure out in, well, I guess it might take us.
Somebody said, calling someone a racist innuendo is racist, whether spoken out of anger or not. What the F? And then Jay said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will, and the letter N will never hurt me.
It's a few weeks before we have this data, but we'll see what actually ends up happening on the election day. There is something very interesting about the fact that if you look at the aggregate of the polls, Trump's support amongst minorities seems to be going up. There is, at least on the surface, that seems kind of funny given how he's being covered in the corporate media. I really do think that a lot of the there's kind of like the progressive cultural worldview is often very disconnected from what people in these communities actually care about. I think the fact that I think personally there's actually a lot of things that appeal to certain people in these communities that Donald Trump, just in his personality, but I really do think that if you ask them, it all is coming down to the same two things that it's coming down to for most voters, which is immigration and the economy. These are the two big issues across all the polls.
It is, I mean, whatever side of this you're on with Trump, it is fascinating that somebody who, many on your side believe is this appalling racist and everything else, that he is increasing support in minority groups. Why is
certain talking, because black people and Hispanic people and Asian people and white, we're not fundamentally different. You can appeal to people using certain talking points. Like, I hate to understand this, but like Dave said, I agree that, that talking about immigration and inflation, that's a thing that plays to a lot of communities, especially if you're a poor community, especially if you don't have as much money. These are things that are probably hitting you the hardest. Now, the issue where the rubber meets the road is that while Trump will talk about inflation, while Trump was running for president, he ran huge deficits in a great economy. There's no reason for it. At least Biden has an excuse to run deficits. We're coming out of a global pandemic. And Donald Trump's every single policy that Donald Trump is talking about will increase inflation. It's going to. Who do you think? You think I'm going to care if my coffee costs $10 or $15 because of tariffs? It's not going to bother me. It's not going to bother anybody sitting here. It's going to bother the very same communities that are trying to vote for him because they're worried about things like inflation.
You said, no, you're just, y'all going back and forth.
And the policies themselves don't even make sense, right? What do you think is going to happen when we deport 12 million workers? Or when we deport however many people Donald Trump wants, or when we, cut immigration even harder to border, right? Donald Trump will simultaneously say, we're shipping all of our factories to Mexico because they're making cars down there, but we want to ban all the people from coming to the United States to make the cars. It doesn't make any sense.
Allow me to remind you of my favorite statistic, which is...
I don't care about Obama. Obama is not running for president, so I don't know why. I don't care.
You're ahead of me, but let me do it anyway.
I know, I've heard it. The deporter-in-chief. It doesn't matter. All it proves is that Trump is a liar when you say he ran on immigration.
This dude's a little kid, bro. Like, chill out.
Obama was already deporting a ton of people.
The single greatest deporter of people in American presidential history, pro rata.
Let's see. So that guy is supposedly like CNN is trying to give this dude the boot.
The hypocrisy from the left, proportional numbers. It's just wait till you see what we put together in this video. I'm gonna prove them wrong, and you're gonna see what a hypocrite they are. If you feel like what he said was off color and inappropriate, then just keep that same energy. But when he say something, but the host that he said it to has literally gotten his show canceled because he's a lunatic when it comes to the Israeli conflict. And then I got video of him just literally going on these rants about how everybody's the devil if they're not a Muslim and they're animals. And y'all okay with this guy being on here, but somebody say one thing to him, y'all crying. I can't believe it. He can never be on the show. You wait, roll the clip.
I mean, I'm glad you played that.
clear, because all day long the Trump campaign have been saying it's a comedian, it's a comedian, it's a comedian. It wasn't just a comedian. Park the comedian and what he said, and you still have Rudy Giuliani, you still have his childhood friend, you still have his donor saying the pimp handlers.
Right.
Just one of those people 10 years ago would have ended a Republican campaign. John McCain, Mitt Romney wouldn't have survived one of those people, right? Yeah. And these people are, there's so many of them, it's classic flooding the zone, Steve Bannon style. We can't even talk about all of them because there's too many of them to get through. In fact, you should give a raise to the producer who had to do that supercut that they had to sit through all of that. You didn't even get through all the clips. There was still Tucker Carlson doing replacement, Don Jr. did replacement, and then Trump himself turned up and talked about invading and occupying our country, which is the language of the far right. He talked about enemy of the people, which is Joseph Goebbels. He talked about enemy of the enemy within, which is literally Hitler. I mean, these are
these people getting on my nerve. He's saying that Donald Trump using the words enemy within. And somehow that's Hitler. You can't use the phrase enemy within. I've heard that on football teams. I've heard that all over everywhere. But when you use it and you're a white man and you're a Republican, that's somehow connected to Hitler. I have never heard Hitler say that. Why? Because nobody's listening to Hitler dead tapes. Nobody listening to Hitler. Nobody reading about him. Most people don't know. They only know Hitler because there's a connection with the Holocaust thing. But nobody paying attention to Hitler. They don't know nothing about him. Somehow Trump is looking through Mar-a-Lago for his Hitler tapes. You're a fool. Now listen, he said that. He literally accused Trump of, and Trump supporters of being, and Don Jr., which is a respectable man, of being Hitler. And then watch, roll the clip.
My problem is, I get it. Nobody wants to be called Nazis. It's very inflammatory. But if you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing it.
Bro, like, if they fired him, I don't care, bro.
Anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people sit there and, no, by me, I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, well, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Is it a low blow, right? He went, boop, he hit him low. And, you know, on television, he hit him low. Back in the day when men were really men and they had a sack, then men wouldn't be arguing about this. You know, you throw a low, they squash it, right? He threw a low blow on the guy. But this guy, and I'm going to show you, hold on, I'll get to that in a second. This guy is so anti-Semitic that it's insane. And this guy pretty much was just saying, look, you've been called anti-Semitic more than anybody else. You're talking about Trump and his team being anti-Semitic. You are the biggest anti-Semite, period. Then he go, I'm a Palestinian, so I hear it a lot. No, bro. The Palestinians aren't the problem. Hamas is the problem, and the people who support Hamas. So if you're a Palestinian and you don't support Hamas, then you ain't a problem. Nobody's calling you anti-Semitic. If you don't have a problem with Jews, you're not anti-Semitic. But if you are supporting Hamas and you're a Palestinian, then hope your beeper don't go off, because you're part of the problem. But then he didn't say, I hope your beeper go off. He said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. So really he's saying, I hope you don't get blown up with the rest of them since you want to associate. But you just wait. I'm going to let the clip finish. And then I'm going to play you clips of why he said this and why he had every right to say this, because this guy is an extremist. Roll the clip.
Oh, wow. You should not. No,
Did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on. Did you just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope you're...
Let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
You sound like a supporter
of the Palestinians.
Hamas?
Guys,
let me... Palestinians.
Are you?
Am I what? No,
Palestinians
are not.
Are you a racist, violent person inciting violence against
Ryan, that's disgusting. That is completely...
I apologize.
That is completely
let's have first block say the Muslim guy should be blown up on TV.
Don't say then I apologize. You literally...
I thought you said Hamas.
You didn't think I said Hamas. I said I supported Palestinian rights.
Why? Because when you hear
What's funny is Rudy Giuliani said this yesterday, so you're a great guest to be here to defend Rudy Giuliani.
I wasn't going to entertain nonsense today, and so at this point,
this is what we're in now. This is America in 2024.
Here's what I will say.
Forget the racism.
That's right.
I should die.
I didn't say that.
You said, what does beeper mean? Don't give me a fake.
I did not say you should die.
Why did you say my beeper goes off?
What did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper? What did you mean by the beeper? No, you didn't. You said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan, stop talking.
At least have the guts to support your racist comment.
I'm so sorry.
It's crazy how they use the word racist.
Logan said, puppets everywhere. The world needs leaders and stop making stupid people famous. Red Hunter said, but they are overdoing any words or phrase they can find. Yeah. Burr said, Tatum comes on just my call out. Ryan, he was wrong. Mehdi is a Palestinian, and he has said many times he doesn't support Hamas. Stop lying.
Racism. Both of these dudes look white to me, or similar.
No, they don't look white, bro. No, they don't look white.
Because if he's Arabic, he look like he look like he from there too. He don't look like two brown guys. I don't know what he is. I mean, maybe he's Jewish. This guy is the lightest skinned Muslim that I've ever seen. Come on, bro. Y'all stupid to think that people are looking at y'all and be like, yeah, this is a guy going against a brown guy. Both of these guys look like they foreign to America anyway. But on top of that, let's play the receipts from what this guy has said. Because
he said they look like they foreign to America, bro. That's racist. Yo, what did you just say, bro?
They're getting all out of whack. They're crying on the media. The guy apologized, said, I'm sorry. Thought you was talking about Hamas, regardless of what he said. I want to go to what this guy, Hassan, has said. And why CNN okay with him saying this stuff, and they act like they're literally flying off a handle because the guy said, hope your beeper don't go off, which is a low blow, which is a joke. He clearly don't have a beeper on him. Called non-Muslims animals.
In Islam, the ends do not justify the means. This idea is totally alien to Islam. In Islam, what is halal is halal, what is haram is haram. We do not bend our law, our morality, for our short-term aims. Never. And we never lose the moral high ground. If we know anything of Shia of Muhammad, as Shia of Ali, as Shia of Hassan, as Shia of Hussein, we know that keeping the moral high ground is key. Once we lose the moral high ground, we are no different from the rest of the non-Muslims, from the rest of those human beings who live their lives as animals, bending any rule to fulfill any desire. Once we do that, we are lost.
Hold on. I just want y'all to remember what he just said. The non-Muslims who live their lives like animals.
In Islam, to believe is to know. To disbelieve is not to know. That is what it fundamentally comes down to. It is to remain ignorant, to cover up knowledge. After all, what is kafir? Kafir comes from the root word, which means to cover up, to conceal. The kafir is the one who covers up that knowledge which is clear. The French Orientalist scholar Lamens, he once wrote that the Quran is not far from considering unbelief, disbelief, as an infirmity, as an illness.
Somebody said it sounds like Hitler in Arabic. Y'all is crazy, bro. Elizabeth said 195 likes. Thank you. Can we get 200? Exactly, Elizabeth. Thug life. Stop playing with me. Hit the like button.
As a disease of the human mind. SubhanAllah. Non-Muslims point this out to us.
Okay.
Of course, the kafir, the disbelievers, the atheists who remain deaf and stubborn to the teachings of Islam, the rational message of the Quran, they are describing the Quran as, quote, a people of no intelligence. Allah describes us. Not of no morality, not of no belief, a people of no intelligence. Because they are incapable of the intellectual effort it requires to shake off those blind prejudices, to shake off those easy assumptions about this world, about the existence of God. In this respect, the Quran describes the atheists as cattle of those who go with the crowd, and do not stop and wonder about this world. All of these ulama unanimously agree that at the very minimum, if Yazid was not a kafir, then at the very minimum, he was a fasiq, a transgressor, a breaker of Islamic laws, a corrupt individual, a tyrant, a killer, a drunkard, a dog lover, a music lover, a homosexual, a pedophile, a sexual deviant, someone who slept with his own mother, astaghfirullah. These are their
Yo, this dude wildin', bro. Yo, he wild. Somebody says, sounds like an excuse. Maddie Smith, subscriber, said, all the way from Hell, Britannia. Please vote Trump. America, you will save the world. Life is ruined over here because of the left. I'll listen to you and I'll vote Trump.
Of the ulama in their books, not my view, not Imam Hussein's view, not Ayatollah Sistani's view. This is their view about Yazid. It's all there in black and white. Yet Allah should be pleased with such a man, astaghfirullah. Allah should be pleased with him. Indeed, the fact is, and this is important, Yazid is not simply a fasiq. He was an out-and-out kafir.
Now you heard him say, I think a lot of inflammatory things. He sounds like a religious extremist when CNN act like they don't want Christian nationalists are a problem.
So he is pretty good. Like this Tatum dude, like taking clips and like kind of breaking down different things with people. That was pretty good.
This food is a Muslim nationalist. But they don't have a problem with that. Now let's go back to the clip real quick and see how they berate him, knowing what you know about some of the things he said publicly. Roll the clip.
This is why yesterday's rally was disgusting.
Don't call us Nazis, but I'm going to threaten the brown guy as a terrorist and kill him.
Because I didn't ever say Donald Trump was Hitler. Man. But do you know who stood on a stage yesterday and said, I want to come to the Nazi rally? I don't have to make up words and call you something. You're saying it for yourself. And what you just said right here, apologize, but I will tell you, I don't accept that apology, and you didn't even say it to me. That was disgusting. But I can be offended when you don't even say it to me. I'm not Puerto Rican, but I was offended by what he said yesterday. And I'm offended that the
Bro, you offended by what he said? I mean, I felt uneasy about what he said, but being offended? Yeah, this is CNN, though. Ain't it? Ain't this fake news?
President and potentially future president would allow it and go for 12 hours and not say, I don't care, because you know what? When Kamala Harris put out statements about switching up opinions, it wasn't good enough for Republicans.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you said it.
Why don't you take this back a little bit and let her take the show?
You know what? No,
listen, you're kind of monopolizing her show.
No, hold on one
Because
second.
I'm surprised you wouldn't even say
Listen, we have a lot of... Hang on a second. We have a lot...
Real quick, her or Candace Owens? If y'all had to pick, hold on real quick. Thug Life, hold on. If y'all had to pick, right? If you had to pick between her,
a lot of heated.
Forget the politics. You got to date, right? You could date her or her. Who you? I think she might be getting Candace a little bit. She might be. Somebody said Candace all day. Natalia said Candace all day. She ain't bad though.
Just to marry.
Conversations on.
I don't know. That's a hard one, bro. Just like Anita. So y'all think say Piper Lowe's? Yo, I mean, like, y'all gotta understand, like, black people be making jokes about white people all the time, bro. Like, so I mean, I didn't like the jokes.
On this show.
That
That
is
is
true.
true.
Take it back.
But one of the things that I do not appreciate is when we cross the line. Okay, I
Probably Candace. I'll go with Candace.
don't appreciate that.
I apologize.
And I appreciate the apology, but I don't want a conditional apology for saying something that is completely. It is not civil
I
in the
misheard what he
slightest.
said.
Okay,
I thought he said Hamas.
There are lines here.
Yeah, I went on CNN and said I support Hamas. What
Listen, we
idiots do you take us for?
we gotta stop this.
That's a
stuff.
ridiculous thing
We
to
have
say.
to stop this stuff. Okay, we're gonna go to the break now because
He does seem like an extremist.
I don't think anybody was served by what just happened. Hey, I'm sure everyone has seen what happened
No,
on
time
the
out.
show tonight.
No. They got to do all this to make it all bigger than what it was. That dude threw a low blow out and said, I hope your people don't go off because they're getting into a spat. This guy could call Trump supporters hit Nazis. He stood across the table and said, that guy was a Nazi. Then the other guy said, I hope your pager don't go off. But the guy that said the pager is the problem. Oh my God, he said, he want me to die. You just call this man a Nazi.
Yeah.
And he said, I hope your pager don't go off. That's fair game. Unsportsmanlike conduct on both sides, the penalties offset.
I used to mess with a girl that looked like her.
Remain first down. That's what we should be saying. These penalties offset. You call the people Nazi, and then they say, hope your pager don't go off and you're mad. Listen to what this hoochie mama got to say. Roll the clip.
I just wanted to address one quick thing.
Yo, did he just call her hoochie mama? Yo, what did he just say, bruh?
That's what we should be saying. These penalties offset. You call the people Nazi, and then they say, hope your pager don't go off and you're mad. Listen to what this hoochie mama got to say. Roll the clip.
I just wanted to address one quick thing. As you may have seen, Ryan was asked to leave the show, and we put out a statement saying that he's not welcome back on our air. There is a line here on this program, and it was crossed. But I want to be clear as well that we did not ask Mehdi to not come back. In fact, we really wanted him to come back and finish the show. We had a lot to talk to him about. And we really hope that he'll join us again soon. But for those of you who are wondering why he did not come back, I just want to be super clear that that was not in any way because we didn't want him back at all. And I won't speak for him, but I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that that
You
was
just spoke for him.
You said you caught that too. Go West.
happened there.
You just spoke for him. Like, these people are so. The guy probably didn't come back to the show so he can make this bigger than what it is. They trying to win an election. He want to make this bigger than what it is. He had a show on MSNBC and they kicked him off the show because he was such an anti-Semite during Trump's house.
He did an all right job.
To know that Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush all held election rallies at Madison Square Garden, which is also hosted by DNC.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. The subscribers and the views kind of slowed down. This video got like 81,000 views. Shout out to everybody. We will be back later. I got to get ready because I got to take my car to the Tesla dealership at like 7:30 in the morning or something like that. So I'm gonna kind of get dressed. You know what I mean? It is what it is. and then go do this. But we will be back. Shout out to everybody that's been checking in. Shout out to Denise, Fijan, Prince, Brian, Lily, Jay Brook, JJ Shotty, Red Hunter, Natalia. Appreciate you. And then you got Steel Rain, Maddie Smith, Marcus Chapman, Cole West, Red Hunter, Brian T. Beal. You got People Hernandez, Nate, Brian, Darren, Chi. It's a lot of y'all in here. Aquif, shout out to you. D Block is in here. El Chile, I think I said that right. Josetta is in here. Joseph is in here. Steve B is in here. Mr. Allow is in here. So shout out to all y'all, man. I appreciate it. Kenny Howard, appreciate you. Yo, you know my uncle's name is Kenny Howard. That's why I thought you was him at first. I'm like, what? Because you said something in favor of Republicans, but I think he's a Democrat. So I was like, what? Like, but shout out.